Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, and holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. I want to acknowledge my hair was curly. Aw, American Court sent you here. That's so nice to hear. Throw the goat. I just wanted to talk a bit for a minute about, I actually curled my hair. You can see it, but it straightens itself so easily. It's like these parts down here, like, bitch, no. It's not happening. Anyways, I hope everybody's well. If you're new here, by chance, go ahead and subscribe. Turn gifting on, but don't give gifts today. I've pinned a comment about that. We are having issues with that. And Bill, good memory. Good memory. Bill says, I thought that was the dress that wouldn't work. And you're right, but I fixed that. See, I'm about fixing problems around here. So I sorted that out. Vince can't see anything on his phone. Somebody help Vince. Why is the chat not coming up in the chat is my question, Erica. That's my question, Erica. Hi, Joseph. Okay, why? Why is it seriously not coming up over there? I'm really confused, MB, but I appreciate that. Oi, chat. Oi. Thank you so much. F in the chat from member gifting. I love you. Oh, you can't see the details of my hair. Well, you can't really see the details of my hair in person either. Okay, I actually don't know what's going on with that. Let's go here. I know. Oh, well, that's working. Did you see all that? Super weird. Anyways, that just tells Paisley it's time to get going. Twin Hype, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Oh, what is going on here? All things are happening all at once. Is there really 18? Yay! Is there really 18 people watching? Hi, American Courts. I heard you sent people over here. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Normally it would tell me that you're check marked. I can see that you have a special check mark over there. Congratulations. But I am without a check mark myself. Don't see. Oh, there's 39 people. Wow, look at that. Look at that. And yes, this is the famous yellow dress. I did get it working. I fixed the green screen. And there we go. Casey Carey, you're so sweet. I love you. Here we go. We have a lot of court to watch today, you guys. A lot of court. And we're going to start out with... I'm trying to think of how we should do this. I think we're going to start out with what I would say is a little bit of a crazy case. Give me 1 second to pull it up here. Basically, it was in DJ Kmetts' room. Was it the first one or was it the second? It was the first. This one. So all up in DJ Kmetts' place today. Is this them? Nope, completely wrong. Completely wrong. Completely wrong. I'm in the wrong folder. My apologies. Is it that one? It's this one. There we go. Okay. So we're going to start out. We'll listen to some cringe. Hey, there's Casey Carey. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. We love friends around here. We do have a lot of fun. We are unhinged. It's fucking unhinged here. And that's okay. That's the way we want it. Just as a little announcement, if you do get overwhelmed by the chat, Streamlabs, you can go ahead and block that. That's a fun chat bot. We allow gambling here. You collect points. And you can gamble, ask Magic 8 Ball questions, all the different things. Oh, MB. MB just described my perfect day. Have a gummy, do a Peloton ride. I don't have a Peloton, by the way. And then have another gummy. Yes, that would be my perfect day. It can sort of. Beats, boops, we've got all the different commands. Anyways, this is DJ Kmetts, and we're gonna watch this. This becomes a bit of a crazy case. Not the first one, but the second one. Here we go.
Okay.
Support staff in the office for 3 times.
Yeah. Well, we had to adjourn. Yeah.
I was in trial for 2 days. My law clerk has given notice and was done yesterday.
God.
My other legal assistant is out vomiting.
Okay.
Support staff in the office for 3 times.
Yeah. Well, we had to adjourn. We had to adjourn one motion because one of the attorneys was running 103.5 fever yesterday. So.
Oh, I wonder if something's going around.
Well, 2 people we're at somebody's office on Monday acquired COVID.
Oh no.
So, yeah, it's back. So all the fun of that all happening. Welcome, Miss Hansen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Mr. Hess, how are you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Hey, it's going to be a morning. It's always, I just realized I was pacing for 20 minutes. I generally pace when I think. Then I was pacing for 20 minutes before this. And I'm like, I have done over 450 motion days. You would think I would get over the nervousness.
Oh, crowbar your humble brag in, Judge. Crowbar your humble brag in. How many motion hearings have you done? It's so funny to me. I love him, but it is so obvious when you watch it. It's just like, oh my God. And the poor attorneys, they're like, oh my God, look at their eyes. They died a little bit. Both of them died inside a little bit when they're like, oh, I gotta kiss this guy's ass.
Always there a little bit, I guess.
So good.
Yeah, well, I think none of us really absolutely know what's going to happen. I have a better idea than most, but that doesn't mean that's going to be the bottom line answer. I've had things go sideways 2 minutes into a motion. So in any event, let's go ahead and go on the record in the matter of Hansen versus Hansen, case number 23-08716DO. I've read your motion, Mr. Hess. You still haven't received the responses?
No, I haven't. Nope.
Okay. Ms. Campfield, what's going on?
What I can
I realize this week you have a couple of days that you were out and you have a missing clerk, but these were due a couple weeks ago. Well,
Correct.
more than a couple weeks ago.
Well, I have been communicating with Mr. Hess in that regard, as has my office. My client turned over to me a very large portion in time, I might add, of medical records that we needed to go through for verification of the disability that will be alleged for spousal support.
Okay.
We were waiting on the written answers to the actual interrogatory questions. She did provide those to us. My staff unfortunately misplaced those. We have looked everywhere that we could possibly.
Okay.
find.
All right.
It was not,
Her staff misplaced somebody's medical documents? First of all, that sounds like a fucking lawsuit to me. Doesn't it? Also, I've been staff before. I've been an executive assistant, not a legal. Obviously, I'm not a legal assistant or a paralegal, but I've worked in many different jobs, and I've taken the fucking hit for things before. But I wouldn't assume that you would want to say that. Like, you just. I don't know. I don't know if she can lie about it. And wouldn't you just copy those the second you get them into the office and put them into a file? Like, to me, That seems like that would be a main part of that job. Also, did somebody take them somewhere? Like, how do you lose those in an office?
I'll do what I generally do in this,
Well,
starting.
if I may, I have a
Yeah.
little more.
Yeah.
We did this week on the 27th send Mr. Hess a proposed stipulated protective order that those
Okay.
medical records would be provided without them being copied, disseminated, the usual.
Yeah, that's fine.
To my knowledge, I haven't received that back the 2 days I was in trial, but Mr. Hess would know better.
Mr. Hess, did you have any problem with that?
Yeah, I do. I do have a problem with the proposed stipulation. It was very overbroad. It prohibits me from providing any document, any discovery to my clients. I mean, it was just it was way overbroad. I mean, I can't give any of these answers to my client. I'm not going to sign that. I will say that.
Well, you have to discuss them with your client. That's for darn sure.
I will say also that I did grant a 2-week extension in July, and they would have been due July 24. No objection was filed to my discovery request.
Right.
I mean, any objections are waived at this point. I mean, there's been no motion.
Well, what I will do is I will give the protective order to the extent that only you and your client may have copies of this. His client gets them. Medical is on the issue, therefore his client has to know what he's fighting and what he's arguing for or against.
Here's my problem with that. Even in a criminal matter, as well as a civil matter, these would not be given to a defendant. They would not be given to a client.
This is a family law matter, and they will be, because he has the right. And what I will do is issue the protective order that he's not allowed. Neither the attorney and the client will keep it privileged between themselves. They will not publish it to anyone else, and they will not discuss it with anyone else. And you will get these answers to Mr. Hess's office by next Thursday, or it's a $25 per day charge starting next Thursday.
Wow, Judge. Lay down the law. He doesn't do that very often. Parson, hi, how are you? Hi. No, but seriously, DJ Kmetts doesn't normally, lay down the law like that. But I think this is maybe open and shut. Yeah, he really didn't even put it in a joke. Like, it's a little weird for him. But as you can see, today is a weird day for him. The next case is going to be even weirder. He doesn't like pretty girls. DJ Kmetts doesn't like pretty girls. Well, not when they misplace paperwork, I guess, especially, huh?
Thank you.
All right.
Would you like me to draft that order? Do you want Mr. Hess to do so?
I think you can draft it. It's a pretty simple one. It just says that the attorney and the client may be the only ones who have copies of this and are the only. It's not to be published. It's not to be put on any media. It is not to be discussed with anyone else but the attorney and his client.
Okay.
I will protect her to that extent, but to the extent that this needs to be discussed with Mr. Hess's client, he needs to know what they're facing, and the client needs to fully understand what the argument is. So he is allowed those copies.
Thank you.
All righty?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
That way we get you your answers soon, Mr. Hess, and if not, there's some charges to be piled up. All righty.
Thank you, Your Honor. I guess I'll just note I do have 4 motions this morning, one more with you. I don't know what you had on your agenda.
Well, Miss Camfield's got one too, but the opposing attorney on Miss Camfield's is going to be late.
Durham is my other one with you. So if there's a way
let me see if they are.
I'll just hang out.
Well, hang out. Yeah, we'll let you know as soon as they're here, because otherwise, yeah, I do keep you on here until we're done with you.
Yep. May Miss Hansen be excused?
Oh, of course, Miss Hansen. It was nice meeting you. Good luck with your disability claims. Those are never easy.
Thank you. No, it's not easy.
No, it's never easy. And it takes is the average less than 2 years now? It was averaging 2 years to get it, and you generally got denied, and then the 2 years included the appeal period.
I was accepted within 3 months.
Oh, very well.
Oh, have you heard him so impressed before? He's like, you are exceptionally disabled. I'm fucking impressed. That was, holy shit. I mean, that's a weird humble brag too. Hey, sweet tea, nice to see you. Yeah, I'm so disabled. I got accepted on my first time. Watch, she's gonna rub this one in. Watch this continuation of a humble brag.
Okay.
And I didn't have any lawyer or anything like that. I just filled in the paperwork.
Well, then
And,
then the stars have aligned for you. I would let
They
you know
did.
that normally it takes 2 years.
I realize that, yes.
Congratulations, Mr. Hess. You'll have an interesting time reading that one.
Okay, all right.
Because
Thank you.
if it was good enough to get her in 3 months, I mean, there's some, yeah. Good luck,
And
everyone.
I will call you later today, okay, Ken?
Yeah, get
Thank
those
you.
done.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Seriously. Such a weird humble brag. Hi, Tammy. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much, Casey Carey. I love it. Super chats. It'll pop up here soon. But look at that. Look at the little fox laughing. I love that we can see them. That's so fun. Thank you so much. She has no body before. That would be a good reason for the disability to be put in, right? Like, if she... Oh, for fuck's sakes. Oh, my God. Loud, you're here. I'm going to tell you right now, let's enjoy this next one because it's a doozy. Thank you so much, Casey Carey. Appreciate you doing that. Seriously, this next one, you guys are going to understand. Just wait.
Alrighty, take care, everybody.
Yes, I will.
All
right.
Bye-bye.
get
Dan,
this
stick
modified.
around. Angelique, we'll put you in the waiting room, and
Thank
if
you.
you have other motions, we'll get you in as soon as possible. Do we
Dan?
have?
I didn't have you for Durham. Who do you represent?
I represent
the mother.
Stacy Durham.
Okay, got it.
Oh, I
we're
apologize. I figured you had him because it's a nice lengthy response.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, he amended
Her
the actual motion. Yeah. Do we have both
Correct.
parties here?
No, I don't have defendant yet, but I have a few phone numbers I need to identify.
Let's identify the phone numbers. Dan, you want to stick around to identify phone numbers? It's fun.
I can. I have another one.
Okay,
with-
you go. We'll bring you back in when we get here. We got to give him a chance to get here. I wasn't expecting him to, after reading your amendment to the motion, I wasn't expecting him to show
I
what's
see.
with the
Okay, so
content.
I have a Zoom hearing with Judge McNabb, and
Okay.
then so
No
I'm
problem.
gonna
Just
try
come back when you can.
and I have an in-person later this morning with Judge West. So fun.
We'll try and get you done before you have to be in for your in person.
All right.
All
Thank
righty.
you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Okay,
Let's identify phones.
sure, we can do that.
Spin the. Alrighty, bring in Miss Durham.
Paisley of the past was not having it. This was early this morning. I was lying in bed as I recorded this, as I do every morning. And I was like, I don't want to listen to his stupid jokes. I don't want to listen to it. I remember that now. Oh, sweet tea. A member for 5 whole months. You're so sweet. Honestly, I appreciate the support any day. I appreciate you being here. We always have a good time. You always know where to find us. I was sort of laying in my chair at work. I was laying in my bed at work. I don't recommend it, Wendy.
Alrighty, Stacy, did you
Judge,
connect?
wait. Wendy has asked a really good question. It's about the pinned comment. So, Wendy, I mean, it feels like absolute garbage to say this, but no, I don't. YouTube Daddy is just, there's an issue at the moment, and so it's just sad. But super chats are working, and of course, subscribing is the ultimate gift for me. Look at that. Trebo. Just subscribed, and that made my day. And then look at Carla saying 2 months, baby. 2 months. Oh, and K Crimson, make him drop that bass. Streamlabs will drop the base in a minute. Oh, Casey Carey. I love this dress too. This dress I love so much, I worked on changing the green screen so that I could wear it. Thank you so much, K Crimson. I don't know why it's not picking up. But please accept my thanks, and it'll be along soon. I'm serious, you guys. Buckle in for this hearing. Judge is on a bit of a tear, I will say.
I know Samuel did.
Okay, before we go, let's say thank you to Carol for months. And we love chatting with you. Is YouTube not obeying? YouTube Daddy is obeying with super chats. Those are coming through A-okay. With gift memberships, those aren't going through right now. But Streamlabs is just slow as F. So, thank you. Oh, look, there's K Crimson. Oh, there's Erica. Yay. Oh. Okay, Streamlabs. Your fucking attitude isn't needed. I know I was just calling you out, but you can just back the fuck off. I'm sorry. Since when has that ever happened? Ever! Also, thank you guys so much. All of you, I appreciate it. McKay him drop his pants. I know. I'm terrible at spelling. Well, no, I'm positive. I know it's not. I know exactly what happened. Miss Carrie, woo! The girls are in here. Oh, you guys. I love you all so much. Look at that. NPC, $10. Wait, why did it disappear? Thank you so much. It's taking a minute.
Miss Durham?
Yes.
Okay, you connected? Good. Welcome, everybody. We are here in the matter of Durham versus Durham, case number 18-07150DM. Miss Durham, you filed a motion on your own, but your attorney has supplemented it with some information. I've read it. Is there anything you'd like to add to it, Mr. Hess? I noted you added the articles from Wood TV and the other issues in this matter. So there is.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of new information. I checked to see there was a probable cause hearing in court earlier this week, and I couldn't find out any information online. So my office.
Let's ask the person that was involved. Mr. Durham, what happened this week with your probable cause hearing?
They offered me a plea deal. However, my attorney and we are going to go to circuit court with it due to our evidence and everything that we have.
Okay, but so far, I think we have confirmation you had your child with you, and you fled the police with him in the car, correct?
That is accurate.
Yeah, that's accurate. I was going to try and not get into all the allegations against you. I mean, they have hit the media. I was not aware of that, but that was attached as a proffer, an offer of proof to say that these are more than just allegations. These are actual documented, and you are being charged with, I believe, several issues, correct? What are the current charges?
That is accurate.
Yeah. What are the current charges, sir?
I don't know them off the top of my head. I left my court paperwork back at the house, unfortunately.
Okay.
The paperwork.
But they.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
But they are. Go ahead.
Well,
other attorney.
Yeah. Bottom line, folks. You endangered this child. That is going to suspend your parenting time until further order. So what we'll do is I'm going to suspend your parenting time until further order, and we'll find out what happens with these criminal charges. You're facing some big ones.
Can I please ask a question
Of
in
course.
regards to this? I know that you're going to suspend it.
Well, I mean, you've given me very little choice. You endangered the child. You took the child on a event that has had you charged with
serious allegations. That is accurate.
Very serious allegations.
and I'm not refuting that. I'll take
Well, let's
full
don't say too much here. What you
I'm
say
trying
can
not to.
I know, but what you say can and will be used against you because the prosecutor can get a copy of this. That's why I'm not trying to
Okay.
go into the charges.
All
They
I'm
are
trying
awful.
to say is I'm a loving father. I made a mistake as a human in regards to certain actions that happened, but I'm not the only one in this party that has put him in danger and everything as well. Every time my ex-wife was going through her situations, I
Well,
always bailed them out because I love my son to death. Like,
well, and that's why I'm suspending it until further order. We will be talking in the future once we figure out what's going on with you and whether you're even going to be available before that child turns 18.
yes, sir.
So,
Because I'm not sure if you're not going to be heading for a longer term. So he's 13 now. And if I remember the sentencing guidelines for what they are charging you with, it's a possibility we won't be talking about parenting time at all till further order.
Correct, but the evidence that my attorney is getting and everything,
Well, and
I
you
know
have
it'll.
that right. That's why I'm reserving the right for you to come back, after we figure out what's settling up with all these issues.
Is there any way because I know right now court ordered I'm not allowed to speak to him and everything.
Well, yeah.
Well,
That was going to be my other question. There's a protective order against him in the criminal case as well because he was involved as a
correct,
victim.
but what I'm trying to ask you, I'm assuming you're the judge, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm the court referee that's assigned to this matter. Yes, I'm.
Okay.
I'm pretty much the equivalency. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So
Once if that order ever gets lifted, you may come back to court and see if there's any possibility of doing supervised parenting time. But I'm not overriding the criminal court. I kind of figured there was a no contact order in that case, simply
correct, and
because
that's
of the
why I was asking
circumstances.
if they lifted that.
If they lift it, we can you may file a motion and we may discuss it. I don't know whether that will be appropriate or not either because I think that the 13-year-old is going to have some input here. You scared him.
I don't disagree that he probably feels unsafe and he's scared. I agree to
You
that.
took off and led a police chase with him in the back seat.
I panicked.
Oh
because
yeah, I know you
didn't-
panicked because what you were there to do.
It wasn't what I was there to do. You are going off of allegations based off the limited stuff that the media and that everybody put out there, other than the factual facts that
Okay.
that
In
weren't
any
put out
event,
there.
you fled the police with the 13-year-old. That's why I started with that, and that's what I was going to base. You endangered the child, and understanding the other charges that were against you, I figured there was a no contact order.
You missed quite a bit, Mikey. Welcome. Glad that you could awaken and grace us with your presence. This guy who's on the phone, not on the screen, apparently took his 13-year-old on a chase. Who wants to go on the hunt to find that body cam footage and the chase footage? That would be fun, huh? Apparently there was media. We'll have to look at that. Anyways, and right now he's paying the unfortunate consequences of what happens when you allegedly break the law, allegedly, with your child in the car. Allegedly. And the reality is those are allegations. It might be enough to suspend parenting time, but I don't think that the comments are appropriate from the judge. He's not the criminal judge, and he's really not, it's not appropriate for him to be commenting the way that he is. He's making him defend himself in a way, or sort of prodding him to get him to speak. And he knows that he should invoke his Fifth Amendment right and not speak about this. I mean, he said that at the beginning, but now he continues. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Thank you so much for the late fee. Why is Streamlabs late? They need a late fee too. How does it say? Come on now. It says this is your first super on a live stream. That's not right, YouTube Daddy. Mikey has been very generous and sent many super chats. In fact, I think he popped my super chat cherry. The SCC, if you will, your super chat cherry. Thank you so much. And then, why is it taking so long? Ah! Mark, oh my gosh. Why is that taking so long? Why did it go away? That's pink, by the way. Do you see this tiny, look, I'm gonna blow it up really big. That when, until Streamlabs gets here. Look it, there's just this little square of pink there, and it's so amazing. Thank you so much. Oh! There we go, both of them. Thank you so much, both of you. Wow. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate always the gifts and the memberships. I know those are fun to see go out and all the noise happen, but I really appreciate the support. You guys are amazing. Amazing. Seriously, wow. But I love, it's just pink. I need to point that out to all of our people here. Okay. I can put that back down to, oh shit. Now I'm moving everything around. Here we go.
So that's why I'm suspending your time, because I don't have a choice, and we
Sir,
can discuss it in the future.
Your
I
Honor,
try to get updates through other individuals, and
Right.
my ex doesn't update them. She blocked everybody. I'm going insane here, not knowing anything how he's doing. It's killing me, sir, and it's
Well, that's going to be the criminal court. They want no contact with that child or anything. That's
yeah, but
not
I'm
her.
not the one reaching out. I'm third parties are
If
trying
anyone
to
reach,
inquire.
if anyone reaches out on your behalf, it's you. That's considered you. Be very careful what you're doing. If that chain of events leads back to you, that still could be a violation of your order if they're doing it on your behalf, because they're acting in your age as your agent.
All right, I'm sorry.
Take,
sir, I didn't
no,
know.
I don't get yourself in more trouble than you're already in. You're already in enough. You're in the hole. Put the shovel down. Stop digging. You're deep enough. Okay.
And-
But at this point in time, we'll end this discussion before we get more involved in things that you don't want to really have on air.
Yes,
But I
sir.
will suspend the parenting time. Mr. Hess, I'll sign that order as soon as
okay,
possible.
and I guess the balance of my motion concerning change of custody is.
I was going to ask, how did you want to do that? Did you want to adjourn until we find out what's going to happen here? Because technically, technically she's got temporary legal custody because there's no contact. So
So I can put that in the order temporary.
yeah, put temporary legal custody in there because she can't contact him to get any information or to get input, because
Right.
she's not going to be allowed to because of the underlying criminal case. So I hate to do that on a Friday morning, but I think I don't have a choice because she's got.
I don't know, Mikey. I'm gonna say the shirtless dad has a trademark in his name, and I don't see your check mark here. Although I do know you have one. Also, I know I was muted, and I was just not gonna talk again. I'm sure I was saying something prolific, something that obviously would have changed the world, but unfortunately, I was muted. So that's life. Let's continue.
To make decisions for this child, and she can't be tied to him, but it's temporary. I'm willing to bring that back depending upon the outcome of the underlying events. So everything is reserved.
All right, and then she has, obviously extended parenting time.
Correct. Well, I just suspended his, so technically that gives her all of it. And again, I can't override the criminal order. That's even more stringent than my orders.
All right, and then just, I guess, the further custody proceedings are adjourned, or?
Yeah, adjourned until further, because we need to find out what's happening. This could be a temporary thing. This could be, like I said, with what he's facing, we may not You know, you can, why don't we do a settlement conference in about 3 months and see where this is vetting out at?
Okay, all right, okay.
That way we know when a trial date is, what the likelihood is, and Mr. Durham, you know, what you'll have more information about what's going on. So we don't let it slip, because eventually if you do go away till the child's 18, I will more than likely have a hearing, which will more than likely grant her actual final or modified legal and physical custody.
You can't prejudge things like this, judge, referee. You can't. It's really inappropriate to do. If there was another attorney, if that guy had an attorney on this, which he should get, because he could at least be entitled to supervised visitation. To suspend parenting time for 3 months without any sort of, and then this sort of weird lecture that's happening at the same time, like, it's sometimes what we want to hear as people that watch court and watch bad people or people that are in bad ways getting in trouble, but we don't often do that. It's very rare that you hear a judge or a magistrate go off on somebody the way that I would when we watch them. Like, I'm allowed to go off on people, but they usually can't. You can't say that kind of shit. You can't be like, you took your son on a chase. What the fuck? Like, I understand that there's reasons for the parenting to be suspended. What I'm saying is this hearing would be different if he was represented by an attorney. It's just, there's no question about that.
Custody, because you won't be available. All right. But we'll see. I'm willing to leave it open until we see what happens and how this vets out.
Okay.
All righty.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck, everybody. Mr. Durham,
Thank
take
you.
care. Good luck with the child. Mr. Durham, good luck with your case.
Yep.
Did you see his fucking face? Look at this. We gotta screen grab that. Watch his face. We gotta screen grab this. See, if I was better YouTuber and I was making this into a video and intermixing it with the chase footage, I would zoom in on this.
Good luck, everybody. Mr. Durham,
Thank
take
you.
care. Good luck with the child. Mr. Durham, good luck with your case.
Yep.
If you have questions about that one later, I'll answer them, Miss LeVay.
Yeah. I have a fan on right now. Do you hear it? Is it loud?
No.
Oh,
No.
good. Okay. We can do Medianic versus Smith.
Hey, do you want to gossip later? Let's gossip later, shall we? And she was the more professional one out of the two
Where
of
did
them
I
and
move
distracted
that
him
to?
with a fan. You can't fucking do that, dude. And I apologize,
Oh.
guys. I don't know how much of this case we got.
Alrighty.
I know we didn't get it all. So do you want to watch it? We'll watch as much as we've got.
Good morning, everyone.
Pre-warning of a cock block. Oh, shit.
Good morning.
All right. So, Miss Ross, can you hear me? Jessica, can you hear me?
I think we only have 3 minutes of
Miss
this.
Campfield, you can hear me. Miss Smith, can you hear me?
Oh, and
Yes.
most of it's them
Okay.
not being able to hear.
Sergey, can you hear me? Okay, we got two that aren't fully connected yet.
Don't worry, we have more court to watch anyways, but you'll see what happens. This is the bane of my existence.
Are
coming up.
you
I want you to
able
There
to-
you go.
with me.
Yeah, now we're here. Now we can hear you, sir. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, Miss Camfield, Mr. Hess got lucky. The first phone we brought in was the other side, so we were able to,
That's
So- and we just got done with that motion. So,
Thank you, Angelique.
okay. So, Jessica, how about now?
Oh, Can you hear me now, 007? Can you hear me now? That's a Verizon commercial, right?
Well, that's okay. Yesterday I was in the middle of a hearing and my computer at the courthouse died. It just went black.
Oh, that's not good.
Mini
Well,
PC.
I guess that's one reason why Judge West has things in person.
I did have one in person yesterday as well. So, I mean, I do them. I offer it. Most people just would prefer Zoom.
Correct. Mhm.
It's just easier to come in from your living room.
That is true.
Well, once I found out there were some of the people that don't have that much money that would come in for motions in person and then not be able to leave because they couldn't get their car out of the parking lot because they couldn't afford the parking. That
Oh,
hurt. That hurt here. I'm
yeah,
like, that's just wrong.
of course, of course.
What? What? Judge, you know what? As somebody who's poor, or been poor, I mean, I guess I probably am poor still, technically. But regardless, you don't park in paid parking. If you have to walk a fucking long way, you will park somewhere that you don't have to pay for. I fucking hate paying for parking. I can't imagine that would be like, that's just another little story that he loves to tell. And here's the thing, DJ Kmetts, Judge Kmetts, if you happen to ever watch this, and I know that you're on YouTube, I don't delude myself to thinking that you're going to watch me, but let's just say you were watching. I want to know what theater productions he was in as a youth, because I almost guarantee it. And then, like, part of me just wants to be like, I feel like he's just, I don't know, now I feel bad. Like, what if he is watching? And I rip you apart all the time. What I mean to say is, I'm sorry, Judge, you're easy fodder for me. I appreciate it. Keep going. Stream on.
So that's the last thing we want to do is, because I mean, let's face it, it's a cattle call. So if you're there at 8:30, which you do when we're live, and you got 80 people in the courtroom, somebody's not leaving till noon.
That's correct.
At least with these, so that so that the parties understand. We set mine up at 8:30, 9:30, and 10:30, so that nobody's in the waiting room for hopefully longer than an hour.
Thank you.
Well, it also drives my clerk nuts when there's 80 people in the waiting room and you can't hardly tell who's who.
No, I just think that's the best way to do it. And I think that Judge McNabb tries to do that as well.
Well, our
Judge
yeah.
Bynes.
Yeah, our Supreme Court has asked us, especially for motions, because it is for the parties' ease.
Mhm.
It's not about us; it's about all the people that we serve. How about now, Jessica? All right. I do have a way of doing this. Where'd it go?
Does he have a sign? Where's your sign? Please let us see your sign.
Let's see if I can do this old school.
Please.
Or I can give her the call-in option, referee.
Well, I was about to
A cold.
call her.
Also, you guys are
Let's
about
see
to
if she's
live the
got her
life of a
phone.
YouTuber for a minute.
No. That's, yeah, never mind. It's her law firm. So, okay. Yeah, give her the call-in option. I was going to just call her on my phone, put us on speakerphone, because that's what I've done with others. It works pretty well. I can't do it at work. I can't do it at the courthouse.
Da-da! It happens just that fast, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, we didn't miss that much. We got a lot of what I wanted, and we got that car chase case. Now we're going back. We covered a case this week of a man who was accused of intentionally underemploying himself. He was working as a security guard for Quick Trip, making $7,500 a month. You heard that correct. Over a year, he made $7,500 a month on average from that job. And the judge and everybody, the accusation was that as soon as he found out his child support payment was up, he quit that job and he was underemploying himself. Well, I got the ruling for that case. Let's watch it now. Spoiler alert, he didn't show up.
253762.
This is the one I was on Tuesday, Judge. It's a Reedus, and the other party is also styled as Reedus, but her last name is McGriff.
And which ruling was this one?
Judge, this is the case where we had maybe a half-hour hearing on his well, I guess it's not my client, but I'm the ad litem that was appointed. But the non-custodial party's income. He was previously working as a security guard for QT or Quick Trip.
All right.
And
All right. Okay. I remember that. I got it ready. Okay.
Oh, where did Miss Hubbard go? She probably went to grab. I think
the internet's just messing with us all these days. Okay. Every darn one of us.
Yeah, I
got 3 connections, and when 3 go down and they're all from different companies, that's a problem. Well, 2 of them for different. Yeah, one's from Verizon, one's from T-Mobile, and the other's Spectrum. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then let's go ahead and get this one on the record.
And
are both either party present?
Judge, Miss
Reedus is here.
Right. She's her screen says Reedus, but her last name is McGriff. But Mr. Reedus emailed me and yesterday to say he was not going to be able to be present. You had said the parties don't have to be here.
Right.
And so I told him that he should be here, just to be clear. If he wants to be here, he has every right to be here. But
yeah, let's go ahead and get this one on the record.
I don't know. It's Friday night. I don't think I have.
First, going to go ahead and call Bell County calls number 253,762-C. This is in the interest of Reedus minor children. Non-custodial party is Benjamin Reedus, and at the time this matter was filed, the non-custodial party's name was Terry M. Reedus, but my understanding is, yeah, she's got a different last name now. Anyway, this is before the court on a suit for modification and motion to confirm arrears. The court will know for the record that both parties have previously been noticed and served, that the court had a hearing on this issue dealing with child support and the recent, very, very recent change of job status with Mr. Reedus. Anyway, the court will reset this matter for the purposes of doing a ruling. So at this time, the court will note that I told the parties they did not have to be here, but I note Mr. Reedus is not. But I do note that Ms. Reedus is present, the state is present, and the ad litem is present. So at this time, I'll let everybody do their lawyer thing and make an opening statement and tell the court if there's anything else that additionally they're wanting done here today to go along with this ruling, or is there some anything else, or any reason they think this shouldn't take place today, or they need something for further temporary orders or whatever. Thank you. So I'll start with the state and then go to Mr. Brem. Yeah, I'll start with you and then go to Mr. Bremhall. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor, the state's requesting a final order that just finalizes the temporary order. It's the state's contention that those figures were correct at that time, and that Mr. Reedus has become willfully underemployed, and so we shouldn't reward bad behavior. It's also the state's contention that if we base it on an uncertain income, we may never see any money come through because he testified that he's working for his friends and that he doesn't know when his jobs come in. So the state would rather go on the information that was presented, that we have proof of, that he is able to make the amount of money that would justify child support being set at $1,840 and just continue that from April into the final order.
All right, thank you. Mr. Brimhall.
Judge, in this case, my job is really to advocate for the best interests of the child. I certainly, I have told Mr. Reedus in my conversations that him switching jobs in this fashion looks quite suspicious. I think he was grilled pretty good on Tuesday by both of us. I am hesitant to completely say it's a frivolous change in jobs. He had testified that he couldn't stand, and that was why he had to switch jobs. I certainly understand veterans deal with all sorts of physical ailments, and I can't say for certain whether he's being sincere and genuine there or not. However, what we do know from the hearing is this. Over the last 12 months, he's averaged $7,629 each month up until this past month. I guess this month of August. This month of August, he quit his job at Quick Trip, and he had testified that he worked 5 days last week and 3 days this week. And that's where he is today. He told me that he's at that job that he testified about on Tuesday today, and that's why he's not here. So it's quite a big step down from $7,629 a month to $1,872 over a 2-week period.
Hold on, we got to talk about something. We did watch part 1, Carol. It was earlier this week. This is the follow-up. Here's the thing. It is gas station. He was an armed security guard at the gas station, Vince. And I just did the math. That's $91,548 in his income. He worked 5 days a week. He was standing, but it doesn't sound like he worked fucking any mandatory overtime to get that out of control amount of money. Why I'm saying that is that's even more rare. It wasn't at the corporate office. He was a corporate, he was hired by corporate, not through another security company, but he was working at a gas station. He was told, if you want to take a break, you have to sit in the storeroom at the back. And you could tell he didn't like saying that he worked at the gas station, but it was obvious that he worked at the gas station. That's before taxes, and then he also brought in $676 a month in a retirement pension from police service, and he also brought in between $2,000 and $4,000 a month in VA disability benefits. So I'm not joking. At the high, it was over $4,000 a month. At the now, it was $2,000. Let's just give him a benefit of the doubt and would say $2,000 a month in VA benefits. So that's $24,000 a year. Plus he has the $676 monthly. That's, no. Is that right? Yeah, it is. That's $8,000. I mean, man, wow. So $8,000 plus $24,000 plus $91,000. That's $123,000 a year. And he did it for a whole year. That's the thing. He was rated at 90 to 100% disabled, and so the VA seemed to didn't do an assessment on him. They did. They based on his work. But again, he had 12 months of wages to the state of Texas, paying taxes on that money, earning that money, and the problem is that you cannot ditch a job like that when your child support changes. And I think that the worst part about it is his backup plan was to do the exact same work just for less money and less less often, basically, and not like every week. And so the problem there is that they basically said, he said, I couldn't stand, and that's why I had to stop working at the gas station. Now, she made a good point that he could, with his disability, ask for a chair and be protected from getting disciplinary action because of his disability in the ADA. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do believe, I mean, he has to be valuable to the company as a security guard for them to pay him almost $100,000 a year to work there. I mean, imagine how much crime he must be preventing. But somebody in the chat once, I can't remember who it was, but they mentioned, like, if you work at Quick Trip, you actually make a lot of money in bonuses if your store does well. So it doesn't, I don't doubt it if they found, like, hey, this guy fucking, this station doesn't get as, robbed as other ones, or doesn't have as much losses. Well, that's worthwhile to a company. And so I can understand that. But in the first year of his job, that seems, it just seems very high to me. But again, he's an armed security guard, former military. The judge was aghast to learn that they were hiring him in Dallas. Was it Dallas? Was it Austin? Where was it that he was working? I can't remember.
Which I think comes out to a little over 4,000 a month, if that were averaged out over the whole month, the whole year, and divided by 12. So even that is quite like going down in income by $3,000 a month is quite a bit. Guideline support, I'm always going to advocate for. The biggest question is, what income should we use?
Last 12 months, Mr. Brimall. Last 12 months.
Yeah.
If he comes back in 12 months showing us something for a whole year, it's been the court's experience over my lifetime as a lawyer that people do these kind of things all the time, but they will not do it for the long haul. They can't afford it, so they'll get back to their norm. So based on what the family code says I'm supposed to do, I'm looking at ordering the last 12 months worth of income, and again, he can come back in a year and try to modify that and showing what his current income has been for that prior 12 months. But right now, he's kind of locked. Unfortunately for the gentleman, he's locked in, and I did not get sufficient evidence to show that he is medically unable to do what he was doing or going forward. So again, that's the bad part about people not hiring their own lawyer and letting them bring in the appropriate evidence to show what's going on and something that's admissible. So again, I always say people who make that kind of money need to go out and hire a lawyer. Period.
Did we since March, his VA went down a little bit, but was the court wanting to just use the temporary order amount, or was the court wanting us to recalculate based on that?
I thought the new amount was calculated based on his losing his 100% disability and going down to 90%. That's what the calculation is based on, correct, Ms. Hubbard?
Not the one in April, Your Honor. It was not significantly different, but I will get those numbers up for the court right now.
All right, let's get those, because if he went from 100% disability down to 90, he's lost 2,000 months right there. So
Your Honor, he did, but his income was underreported for his job for the April hearing. So I believe the difference was going to be something like $50 a month. But again, let me recalculate, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
For what it's worth, I think, and I'm certainly happy to defer to whatever the state calculates, but I think it should be in the 1,750 or 60 range.
She's doing it. So she'll give me a figure, and that's what the court's going to go with. Again,
I'm assuming.
I feel for him, but again, you don't leave your high-paying job the month before. So voluntarily.
I hear. That's what I. I mean, I think.
Okay, Your Honor, I have the.
And that was it. We got it anyways. He's going to be charged the child support for the last year based on that. He didn't show up because he was at work, Vicky, but I don't know. I think I probably would have called in for that one. Especially since it's a 1099 job. It doesn't really matter. It's not like it was his $7.5 or $7,500 job. Miss Hubbard went straight to the cupboard this hearing and just fucking took him to town. Seriously. What an interesting case, I thought. He should have hired a lawyer, absolutely. And I think that that's a lesson we all need to remember. But yeah. And I unblocked the cock block. Yeah, that's right. I followed up. Look at me. Following up. Doing my job. Okay, what's next on the list? Oh, I think it's this one. 7 minutes. Oh, I think it's this one. We're gonna have to watch a couple to figure out which one. Oh my god, ma'am! I'm supposed to
Good
be,
morning.
no,
This is
Judge,
the matter of Lopez.
I'm supposed to be the boob lady around here, ma'am. Ouch. Hangs head in despair.
versus Datson, case number 23091199 DP.
Buenos días, ese es el caso de Lopez versus Datson. El número de caso es, the case number again, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
23091199 DP.
230919 DP.
Right, and present in the virtual courtroom, we have the plaintiff, Ms. Lopez.
Tenemos presente al señor Aber López, es a través del cuarto virtual.
And we also have an interpreter.
Y también tenemos un intérprete.
All right. Mr. Romero, would you raise your right hand? Would you state your name for the record?
Eduardo.
One more time.
Eduardo Romero.
Do you swear or affirm that you will accurately translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. Ms. Lopez, we are here on your motion regarding parenting time.
Señora López, estamos aquí en su moción acerca de tiempo de visita.
I have read your motion.
Ya he leído su moción.
Is there anything else you would like to say about it?
¿Hay algo más que usted quisiera decir acerca de eso?
Quisiera agregar algo más.
I would like to add something else.
Okay.
Okay.
La persona que el señor Johnson tuvo un altercado cuando protección infantil, servicios de protección infantil.
Altercade, the CPS.
Esta misma persona, esta chica me estaba texteando en agosto 3 haciendo como un tipo de amenaza.
This girl texted me on August 3rd, threatening me or it's making some kind of threats.
Y me comuniqué con el señor Johnson y él me dijo que esta chica estaba celosa que mi hija estuviera compartiendo tiempos con él.
And I talked to Mr. Datson, and Mr. Datson told me that this lady is not happy that my daughter is spending time with him.
This is a CPS worker?
¿Esa es la trabajadora de CPS?
Eso es lo mismo, es la misma chica que el señor Johnson tuvo el altercado.
It's the same girl that Mr. Datson had a fight with.
Ella estuvo hace unas semanas atrás, estuvo contactándose conmigo.
A couple of weeks ago, she was trying to get a hold of me.
Okay, so this is the person that you referred to in your motion?
¿Esa es la moción en que usted se refiere en su moción?
Sí.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll note for the record, this matter was noticed on for 8:30 this morning.
Noto para las actas, este asunto fue preparado para las 8:30.
And Mr. Datson has failed to appear.
Y el señor Datson ha fallado en presentarse.
It is now 8:53.
Ahora son 8:53.
And Ms. Gibson, could you confirm that Mr. Datson was sent the Zoom ID?
Señora Gibson, ¿se puede confirmar que se le mandó la notificación de Zoom al señor Datson?
Yes, one moment, Your Honor.
Un momento, señoría.
He's very good. One of the best. So smart. So smart. I should have been more clear earlier, Wixom. Like, we'll be here a while. I just, like, can't put a time on it. You know how it is. Also, you guys, my hair is basically just straight again. Like, there's a few pieces. I don't know how to make it be still curly. I think there's, like, industrial strength.
It's difficult because I have about 30 and it's hard to find.
Es difícil porque tengo como 30, un poquito difícil de encontrar.
Can you do a search on his name?
¿Puede buscarlo bajo su nombre?
Not in the invite. I'm still looking.
Parte de invitaciones, sigo buscando. Excuse me.
This isn't the case I was thinking about, but he is a good interpreter. He's much
At
better
any
than
rate,
some.
this was noticed on for
judge.
hearing. As I said, I'm looking at the motion that Ms. Lopez filed, and she does notice it on for hearing today's date at the courthouse. Ms. Gibson, has anyone inquired or indicated that they are present physically there at the courtroom?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Dado de que la señora López entabló esta demanda y es una de las cosas que también vamos a checar. No hemos notado si hay alguien aquí en persona. Señora Gibson, ¿alguien se presentó aquí en persona o se ha acercado? No, señoría.
All right, I will grant the motion as requested.
Voy a otorgar la moción como fue peticionada.
Modify parenting time for Mr. Datson
Modificar el tiempo de visita del señor Datson.
to Saturdays from 8 until 4
Sábados de 8 a 4
and Sundays from 8 until Sunday at 4.
y los domingos de 8 a 4.
And those are every other weekend.
Son esas visitas cada otro fin de semana.
All right, is there anything further? Oh, yes, and I'm sorry. Wednesday from 4 to 8 p.m.
Algo más en adelante. Oh, disculpen. Los miércoles de 4 a 8 p.m.
Mother's Day with mother, Father's Day with father.
Día de la madre con la madre, el día del padre con el padre.
From 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
De 8 a.m. a 10 p.m.
And pick up and drop off to be at Ms. Lopez's address.
Recoger y pasar a dejar en la residencia de la señora López.
All right, is there anything further?
¿Está bien? ¿Hay algo más?
Sería todo.
That will be all.
All right, thank you. We're adjourned. We will do the order.
Nosotros prepararemos.
Una pregunta.
I do have a question.
Okay.
Okay.
Este día yo tengo, en la orden está otorgado que yo intercambie a las 5 a la niña este día y él me la regresa el lunes. ¿Qué va a pasar ahora cuando ya usted otorgó que es el cambio?
So what's going to happen now? He's supposed to pick up our daughter at 5 o'clock, return it on Monday. What's going to happen to the change?
We will get that order out to you today.
Te la vamos a mandar la orden el día de hoy.
Okay.
Do we have your email?
¿Tenemos su correo electrónico?
Sí.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Gibson, would you stop the recording and live stream just so that we can confirm the email?
Well, look at them having pretty good timing for American courts to say good evening. Thank you again so much for stopping by. We don't age shame around here or sleep shame, but glad to have you. I hope that you have a great night. We are going to continue because I'm on the West Coast. It's only 7:25. Do you guys want to guess how many steps I've already done today? And then we're going to watch, all right, let's try the one other 7-minute one. And then we'll get on to the main event of the evening. Okay, I think this is it. Is that it? I mean, I sometimes check them first. But sometimes I don't.
All right, good morning. This is the matter of Feldbower versus Feldbower, case number 17-00569-DM. Present in the virtual courtroom, we have both parties as well as Attorney Christian Krupp on behalf of the plaintiff, Attorney Courtney Sierra on behalf of the defendant. We are here on the plaintiff's motion to show cause. And Mr. Krupp, anything you want to say? In addition
At the end of the day, my client, she's significantly behind in child support. She managed to have no problems paying her lawyer upward near $20,000 to never ending litigation on custody, but yet she can't seem to pay her child support. She has the money, she has an ability to pay, she knows she does, and if she just doesn't pay her lawyer, then she could probably pay my client, because my client needs money to fund the multi-$1,000 litigation that he's involved in. He needs the money at the end of the day, and it seems like she has no problems giving Thacker Slade thousands of dollars, but can't pay her child support. I think it's completely reasonable to give her 7 days to make her child support current, or I guess go to jail. I mean, because clearly she has an ability to pay. I don't see any bank statement. She has a job. She makes $60,000 a year, but she can't seem to pay child support.
All right, thank you, Ms. Sierra.
Wow. You know, I don't even know how to respond.
Wow, you know, I'm from Michigan, you know, and I am not used to people coming in strong like that, you know, and so I'm gonna need to stall, you know, to think of something to say, you know, because that was just, you know, terrible. Seriously. Her accent came through stronger than mine does. He came in hot. But you can feel the hate through the screen. Just like you can feel the love in our chat.
On to a lot of that. The reality is our response that we filed clearly shows that my client's not in violation of the court order. We've provided the court, you know, the spreadsheet of the insurance. We have gone through and shown the court the payments. She has continued to make payments that are more than what it should be right now. I am unfamiliar with any law that provides for my client to go to jail because she's paying an attorney for help because Mr. Feldbower has gone through and obstructed justice here. He has denied parenting time. He has played games. It is the only reason that this case is costing so much money is because Mr. Feldbower has created a massive situation here that's not in the best interest of this child. To suggest that my client should go to jail because she is asking the court for help so this child can have time with his mom is ludicrous to me. And from what I'm understanding, what I just heard, Mr. Feldbower doesn't need the money to take care of this child. He wants the money to pay for Mr. Krupp so he can, I guess, file another frivolous motion to show cause. I'm not sure. But I would request that this motion and order, I would request the motion be denied. I would request that the order to show cause be dismissed. My client has not violated one single order as it relates to child support. And I would request attorney fees for having to respond to this motion and be here today.
Mr. Krupp.
Yeah, according to Ms. Sierra, I guess she's current on sport. If she's current on sport, then we shouldn't be here. I totally agree. If she's behind.
Mr. Krupp, let me ask you this. It looks to me like the response indicates that she is under a uniform child support order and she is paying on arrears.
That doesn't solve the problem, Your Honor. At the end of the day, she's behind. She has an ability to pay. The thought that you get behind and then, oh, I'm okay, I pay $5 a month until I'm dead, doesn't solve the problem. My client.
Right. I don't think that I can hold her in contempt under the law, because she is abiding by a court order. If your request is simply that she pay off the real arrearage in full, we can discuss that, but she is not in contempt.
That's Your Honor, she needs to pay the arrears in full. Then she has an ability to pay. She has thousands of dollars, I'm sure, because like I said, and I thought it was ironic that Ms. Sierra is saying that my client is, I mean, every motion that's filed has actually been by Ms. Sierra.
I'm not going to get into that because it's not relevant.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
the question is, does she have the ability to pay the child support in full, the arrears in full today?
Your Honor, she does not have, first of all, she does not have the ability to pay the arrearages in full. Secondly, what we don't know what the arrearages are, because as my response indicates, she's been paying support on an order that's incorrect. That's at least $137 more than what the last order should be, what the last recommendation from the friend of the court was. Further, these parties have been exercising equal parenting time since April 26th, when this court had to tell Mr. Feldbower to follow court orders and allow my client to have parenting time with her son. So I don't have a problem with discussing what the arrearages should be with Mr. Krupp, and I candidly would say that if we're going to do that, I think we need to have another hearing on that, because if we're going to talk about child support, my client shouldn't be paying $606 on a UCSO based on her having overnights that are inconsistent with the judgment of divorce. So I'm happy to talk about it, but I do not think that it's appropriate to order that she's going to pay arrearages because we don't know what they are.
What we do, you check with front of the court and they'll do a printout for you. They'll show you what the.
Okay, all right. I'm going to refer this for an audit and I'm going to deny the motion today.
Your Honor, attorney fees.
So, Your Honor.
I will reserve on the request for attorney fees.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the other issue comes up with I realize that you did a no oral argument on, we have a front of the court recommendation that wasn't objected to. My client didn't object to it. Quite frankly, it resolves the entire case. And Ms. Sierra then filed an objection 3 days late, undisputed.
This was already
decided this case. I've already decided this, Mr. Krupp.
Okay, so we're going to do week on week. The child's starting school. That's the problem. And
there is no problem. You're on an order to show cause.
I'm sorry. Okay, I won't interrupt you, if Ms. Sierra. You won't interrupt me. It sounds like you're jumping down my throat.
Both of you
were. The child is starting school, Your Honor, and there was an improper objection. I didn't. It was 3 days late. It is what it is. It needs to enter so the child can. Right now, the child has to commute to school because she objected. The order should enter at the end of the day. No, there was no objection to it.
You can file a motion for reconsideration, but I'm not addressing it today. We're adjourned.
Right.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'll be keeping my eye out for that coming up. Any more of that. That was contentious. That was wild, right? Sometimes we just find nutso stuff. And sometimes people email me and tell me about nutso stuff, which was the case in this one. Thank you for doing that. Now we're going to our main case of the evening. Some of you may have seen this. I think it happened a week ago, but there was a follow-up today. We're going to start with the week ago's hearing, and then we will go forward from there. I think we'll probably just do the one tonight, then we'll do the one tomorrow. I'll give a trigger warning. I think this is a CPS-esque. It's CPS adjacent at the very least. So that may be triggering to some. Please make sure to take care of you and your mental health first and foremost. But reminder, we have a great and open chat around here. So if you want to talk about something, please have at her. Anyway, no, we're staying in the breadbasket of LawTube Michigan.
2-1. All right, we are on the record today because there was a petition for emergency removal filed yesterday. After hours, I did review that, sign that, and authorize the department to remove the child, in this case, a newborn infant, and place the child into foster care given the content of the petition. Today, we've come together to conduct a preliminary hearing that is required to follow that within 24 hours. The attorneys have appeared and had the opportunity to meet with each of their clients, which are the parents, respondent parents in this case, ahead of today's preliminary hearing, which I appreciate. I've received a jury demand as it relates to both parents. And I've been informed that they would like the opportunity to have the petition read aloud onto the record. So I think that covers what I've understood to be happening so far. May I have the names of our participants, beginning with our guardian ad litem.
My apologies, Judge. I couldn't get unmuted there quickly enough. Bill Underwood, legal guardian ad litem for the minor child.
Michael Brooks, I represent mother Jacqueline Lomas. Jacqueline?
Hello. Welcome.
Michael McFarland, representing father. Please tell the judge your name.
I am Dakota Harmon Duckworth. I am the father.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Harvey.
Sarah Harvey, for the department. Thank you. All right, Deputy Ames, would you swear in Dakota Harmon Duckworth and Jacqueline Lomas, please?
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. Thank you. All right, I have to ask each of you a number of questions. So that's why I've had you sworn. Is it true, Mr. Dakota Harmon Duckworth, that you wish to have a jury trial on this matter?
Yes.
You do have the right to a jury trial, both of you do. And during that, the department would have to prove the allegations by a preponderance of the evidence. You have the right to an attorney. You'll have an attorney at each hearing. And that attorney can help you and decide whether or not to call your own witnesses, to cross-examine witnesses brought by the department, and of course, to help you decide whether or not you want to testify yourselves.
I
You
would
also,
like to testify myself.
okay, well, let me go through and I'll let you know when I'm ready to ask you a question. All right, so you have the right to have the petition read, which I am happy to do for you today. You also have the right to seek placement or return of your child to you, and the right to admit or deny the allegations in the petition and make a statement of explanation. Do either of you have any reason to believe that you have, that you're members of a Native American tribe or band, or that you're eligible for membership, or that your child would be eligible for membership?
So this is a very standard question that you will hear asked a lot during CPS cases. The reason behind that actually lies in the fact that First Nation tribes, we call them First Nations in Canada, First Nations tribes, bands, and governments tend to have agreements with government agencies at the state or provincial level to take over a case like this if there is Native American or First Nations heritage, because there's been such mishandling of that in the past, that at least in Canada, that a lot of that is now handled what you would call in-house with the tribe, because they just want to approach it in a different manner than removing children necessarily and yanking them out of everything. And so I think that there's a ICPC, an interstate compact, ICCP, whatever. I believe that there's an agreement between all states to ask this question. And they ask it like this, and if somebody says there is a possibility, then they have a requirement to reach out to the tribe, and then they have sort of like a right of first refusal. But it sort of stalls the process, but it's been required in every case that I've seen. It tends to be answered no, just like a blanket no, but I've seen a couple where they did say they had heritage, and then one I remember distinctly was transferred to like a tribe out of Texas, and then one was just like they said they weren't enough.
Mr. Harmon Duckworth.
Not that I would know. My dad was kind of dark skinned, but I don't know if he was Samoan or not. So.
Right, Ms. Lomas, are you a member of any Native American tribe or band, or
No.
know if you have eligibility for that?
No, I do not.
Okay, very good. I know that your child is very new, but are there any other cases out there that would concern your child, like a guardianship, for example?
No.
Okay. Is that okay? Very good. Okay. All right, well, and then at this time, I will go.
Before we get too far into this, I need to make my little speech. I'm going to make it now, and then I'll shut up about this. We know I feel terribly for new mothers. Especially young new mothers. When I had my daughter at a young age, there was a lot of stigma attached to that. I was lucky enough to not ever be involved with that Child Protective Services, but in Canada there was a long history of what they called birth alerts, and so basically a hospital would inform the state, even if it wasn't like basically CPS could put a flag on somebody's file, so when they went to the hospital, if they gave birth, that CPS would be called, even if there was no drugs in the system, no concerns, she'd been getting prenatal care, she'd been completely compliant with every single thing. They had these birth alerts, and many children were removed due to those, with parents not even being given the ability to try, and it actually became illegal. There was some litigation, and they've stopped the practice. It is obviously, if there's concerns, then I'm all about child protection, but I feel terribly for a woman who's given birth within a week to be dragged to court. We talked about it yesterday. I wasn't out of my fucking sweatpants yet, so I can't imagine having to handle something so comprehensive and so all-encompassing as the removal of your child. Now, I don't know the facts of this case. I might eat my words. By the end of this, I might be like, fucking keep the baby, send it for adoption, good riddance, but I do feel for her situation and anybody that's in that situation, and I have a personal problem with birth alerts and people being profiled, in essence, and that happens in Canada, especially in First Nations people. First Nations are exceptionally overrepresented in the child protection system in Canada. Something like 60 or 70% of the people in care are First Nations, but they only represent 10 or 13% of the population. It's an unacceptable number, and it's just an obvious sort of cultural difference and difficulty, but that's a separate issue, so we'll deal with this, but that's just my own feeling on that. We fail in many ways, especially here in Canada. I know our system fails. It's terrible.
Go ahead and read the petition for you onto the record. So the first page, well, let me ask you this too. Dakota Harmon Duckworth, do you have a copy of the petition?
Right here.
Good. Ms. Jacqueline Lopez, do you have a copy?
She may not, we only grabbed one of them, I think. honestly.
I have to ask Ms. Jacqueline Lomas this question. Ms. Lomas, did you receive a copy of the petition?
I'm sorry. I don't, I think my lawyer grabbed one. Did I grab one?
No, I asked you if you had one.
Oh, I do not. I do not, actually. I do not.
Wait a minute. I did ask her and she said, yes, she'd seen it and she'd read it.
Oh,
Yes,
I read
we
it. I read it, but I did not grab it. I'm sorry.
Well, you don't have to have it with you right now. I just want to make sure you have a copy somewhere.
Yes, I have a copy somewhere.
Okay, all right, very good. So what it says is it's a petition for child protection proceedings, specifically as it relates to Siamese Harmon Duckworth. And I'm going to omit his personal. What it says is it's a petition for child protection proceedings, specifically as it relates to Siamese Harmon Duckworth. And I'm going to omit his.
Siamese Herman Duckworth? Okay, jokes aside, that's adoptable. That's a terrible joke, Paisley. It's so serious. Why are you joking about it like that? We've talked about my name game. If you're going to name your child Siamese whatever Duckworth, is that what the name is? I don't even know. You got to go yell that out. If you feel stupid, bad idea. Terrible, Paisley. You're so bad.
personal identifying information. The next paragraph identifies the parents, Dakota Harmon Duckworth, a respondent parent, born 11/16/1999, residing on Winter Street in Adrian.
Oh, 1999 mama was born. Anyways, actually, James, there's actually a very, very good balance in America and Canada about women who want to abandon their newborns. I'll say abandon. It's a fire department system that is well equipped. A baby box, that's what it's called, the baby box. And the key factor of that is getting the information about baby boxes out to the right people, which are generally young teens, young women that have not had good sex education and have strict family upbringings. But regardless, there's been a lot of research done into that, and if given the option and if they know about it, and they follow the protocol, which is they don't follow this woman, they don't try and make her change her mind. They just take the baby, they give her, or she takes a package, and it has post birth instructions in it for her, and leaves the baby in the safe hands, and there's no criminality associated with that. I think that's a really important and good program. And but again, how that program works is by the people that need to use it knowing about it. And so that the most important part of that program would in fact probably be dissemination to little girls. You know, somebody should make up a story. Oh, maybe Disney. Oh, a Disney princess that gives up her baby in a baby box. Or perhaps a book. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, in reality, that's your ideal audience. You need to teach it to little girls so that they know. Like, it's just one of the sort of avenues that you can go. Like, we can keep our baby. We can take it to the baby box. Or we can abort it. And that's fine, too.
The child is, again, I've identified him already, and the mother is identified as Jacqueline Lomas, also a respondent parent, also residing at the same address in Adrian, date of birth 1/29/2000. The second page indicates there are no pending or resolved cases within the jurisdiction of the Family Division of the Circuit Court involving the family or family members of the person subject to the petition. 4, the named child comes within the provisions of MCL 712A.2B1-6 as follows. Specifically indicated are paragraphs 3 and 4. The parent or other person legally responsible for the care and maintenance of the child, when able to do so, has neglected or refused to provide proper or necessary support, education, medical, surgical, or other care necessary for the child's health or morals, or has subjected the child to a substantial risk of harm to his mental well-being, or has abandoned the child without proper custody or guardianship. The second allegation of violation of the statute is the home or environment by reason of neglect, cruelty, drunkenness, criminality, or depravity on the part of the parent is an unfit place for the child to live. Paragraph 5, the reasons why it is contrary to the welfare of the child for the child to remain in the home. Medical personnel expressed concerns for Jacqueline Lomas's cognitive ability to provide basic care for the child. Jacqueline did not find out she was pregnant until 3 weeks prior to giving birth. She does not initiate care for the child and needs prompting for all basic needs. Dakota Harmon Duckworth has mental health concerns, which he refuses treatment for. This includes homicidal ideation. He's very volatile.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Well, this is just terrible. So, how old is mom? Does she need a guardian? What's going on? Okay, finding out if, let's say she gave birth full term at 39 weeks. Let's say she didn't get care till 36 weeks. I mean, that is possible. It's possible. We've all seen the TLC shows. I didn't know I was pregnant, but I certainly knew I was pregnant, and everybody around me knew that I was pregnant. It's been my experience, and with all the moms that I've seen that are pregnant. But I also have told the story before about the mom that was in my mommy group that adopted, that it's a long story. Long story short, they adopted children, and the mom that birthed those children hid her pregnancies until the very end, and she would call them like on the day of and be like, hey, another baby for you. And they, I think, got 2 or 3 of her babies, but she'd done that like 6 or 7 times, and she already also had like 6 of her own kids. But anyways, I digress.
And aggressive with staff. There are concerns for the safety of an infant. Paragraph 6. The reasonable efforts made to prevent the removal of the child include CPS investigation, care pregnancy center, medical care in hospital, continuous infant care education by staff. The specific allegations in paragraph 7 are in an attached addendum. This particular page contains the request in paragraph 8 to authorize the petition, take jurisdiction over the child, issue an order removing the child from the home. Was signed, of course, by Sarah Harvey and Nastasia Thomas, and authorized by myself on August 20th, 2024. The attachment reads, addendum to petition for protective custody and jurisdiction as to respondent parents. Jurisdiction and venue. Jacqueline Lomas is the biological mother of the subject minor. 2, Dakota Harmon Duckworth is the legal father of the subject minor. He signed an affidavit of parentage at Promedica Hickman Hospital. No filing number is available at this time, but will be requested. 3, the subject minor is not a member of or eligible for membership in an American tribe, Native American tribe or band. Jacqueline Lomas and Dakota Harmon Duckworth were asked on 8/19/24 and denied that they or the subject minor have Native American heritage. 4, the subject minor is a resident of Lenawee County, Michigan. The subject minor is currently located at Promedica Hickman Hospital in Adrian, Michigan. 5, the incident of alleged neglect occurred in Lenawee County, Michigan. Factual allegations: neglect and unfit home environment. 6, on 8/17/24, CPS received a complaint which alleged physical neglect of the child by Jacqueline Lomas. The complaint included the following information. A, Jacqueline Lomas did not find out she was pregnant until she was 36 weeks. She gave birth at 39 weeks. 7B, during these 3 weeks, she presented at the Hickman ER on 3 separate occasions. Subsection I, on 1 occasion, she reported that she thought her baby had died because she had urinated. II, on another occasion, she thought her baby had not, quote, eaten, quote, inside her that day, despite the fact that she ate a whole pizza. Subparagraph Roman numeral 3I, on another occasion, she believed her baby had disappeared because she felt a hard pit in her stomach. 8, EMTs who transferred.
Those are cries for help. This is unacceptable. This woman needs to be in wraparound housing with this baby. This is unacceptable. I am fucking sick of it. It happens every time. Do you know how much money they're gonna pay housing this baby, but they're gonna let her flounder? And you know what's gonna happen to that baby in fucking 15 years or 16 years? They're gonna get pregnant. They're gonna be in the justice system. They're gonna be costing the state just as much, if not more money, because they grew up in the system. The system needs to change. This is, if I ever saw a case for a fucking wraparound supportive housing system, why they don't have her sit in a housing place with a baby with people monitoring it. You could not fucking, and the amount of money that's being spent here, oh, I'm pissed off now.
Jacqueline from her home to the hospital, reported to the ER staff that they found the home to be, quote, unlivable, quote, with garbage throughout the home. The parents were sleeping on a dirty blow-up mattress on the floor. At hospital admission, both parents presented with head lice. 9, hospital staff report significant concerns for Jacqueline's cognitive ability to care for the baby. 10, Dr. Amy Hammond is the baby's pediatrician. She expressed concerns to the worker and provided a written document which is included with the petition. See Exhibit 1. 11, professionals believe Jacqueline lacks the ability to provide basic care to the child. She has been given instruction on feeding and diapering multiple times and continues to struggle understanding or participating in these basic actions. Dr. Hammond reports that this is well outside the normal understanding of first-time parents. 12, Jacqueline struggles to answer yes or no questions without long pauses to think. She will often guess when she does not know the answer. 13, OBGYN Dr. Baird reported to the worker that Jacqueline was unable to answer simple postpartum questions, such as how much bleeding she was experiencing or if she had used the restroom since the birth. 14, Dr. Baer also expressed concerns regarding Jacqueline's cognitive functioning. 15, Jacqueline is unable to maintain a feeding schedule for the child. 16, Jacqueline does not make efforts to hold the child or to bond with him. She is not attentive to him without prompting and assistance from staff. 17, when the child begins to fuss or cry, Jacqueline becomes highly agitated, which is a concern for his safety while at home. 18, Jacqueline reports that she sees a provider at ACPC. These records have been requested but not yet received to confirm this. 19, Jacqueline was referred to prenatal neurology and maternal fetal medicine due to taking seizure medication throughout her pregnancy. Jacqueline made no attempt to see either specialist. Dr. Hammond finds this concerning given the numerous appointments and medical care that newborns require. 20, there are no alternative arrangements available in the parent's home to adequately safeguard the child. 21, Dakota Harmon Duckworth and Jacqueline reside together and intend on raising the child together. 22, Dakota reported to the worker and hospital staff that he has a diagnosis of anxiety, bipolar disorder, suicidal ideation, and homicidal ideation. He reports that he refuses to seek mental health treatment from providers because they want him to, quote, try different things, quote, which he refuses to do. He provided the example of deep breathing and reported, quote, I don't have the cognitive function like that, quote. 23, Dakota reports that he uses THC to control his mental health. He reported that this is not medical marijuana. He reported that he needs to be, quote, zoned out, quote, all of the time to be calm. 24, while at the hospital, Dakota repeatedly exhibits aggressive and volatile behaviors. Security has been called on him. On more than one occasion, these behaviors were triggered by someone asking him to safety plan around his marijuana use. This is something he has yet to agree to. 25, there are concerns about domestic violence in the home. Dakota self-reports that he has aggression issues, screams and yells often, and argues and fights daily with Jacqueline. He reported to the worker that the baby will see this daily. 26, Dakota reported to hospital staff that after they reported that he had lice, he went back to his home, had a panic attack, banged his head against the wall, and then shaved his head. 27, it is unclear if Jacqueline has the ability to provide for the child's material needs. 28, Jacqueline receives SSI payments. Her mother, who resides in Washington, is her payee. 29, reasonable efforts were made to safety plan for this child, including searching for relatives to assist the family. 30, the family has no family supports who live in the area. The family members reside in Washington. 31, the child is medically ready for discharge. 32, placement with a licensed foster home has been secured for the child. Statutory citations. 33, statutory grounds for adjudication. Based on the above stated allegations, jurisdiction is proper under the following subsections of MCL 712A.2b. The child are under the age of 18, and A1, the child's parents, when able to do so, neglect or refuse to provide proper or necessary support, education, medical, surgical, or other care necessary for the child's health or morals, who is subject to a substantial risk of harm to his mental well-being, who is abandoned by his parents, or who is without proper custody and guardianship. And B2, the child's home or environment with either parent, by reason of neglect, cruelty, drunkenness, criminality, or depravity on the part of a parent, is an unfit place for the juvenile to live in. 34, statutory grounds for removal. Based on the above stated allegations and pursuant to MCL 712A.13A9, removal of the child from the respondent parent's care and custody is necessary, and placement of the child into foster care is necessary as the following are true. A, custody of the child with the parent for
This is so dangerous. You know what they're going to do? They'll either run, they'll go to a new state, and they'll have a baby there and try and stay off the radar. They will, this is just the fucking moment to intervene here. You need to come towards this mother. I don't give a fuck about him right now. I'm not even sure he's the father. We can deal with him separately. But this woman birthed the baby out of her vagina recently, and we need to embrace her in care, especially when it's obvious that she cannot care for herself. It's so absurd to me to think about worrying about the baby while we just toss her to the wind. And I'm not suggesting that she keep the baby, but this is seriously needing intervention here for, to sort out what's going on. Like, the things that are being said here are just, like, really scary for her and for a baby. And, like, I'm just really, you can be a criminal and an asshole, okay? You can have untreated mental health, but you shouldn't probably be pregnant if you truly didn't understand it. I thought that she was on drugs. Like most women that don't seek prenatal care tend to be either like they're on drugs usually and they're avoiding that, or you know, they really don't know they're pregnant. Maybe she really didn't know she was pregnant. Like, I'm at that point now that I might believe that based on the other things that she said. And all of that isn't to say that she should have the baby. It's to say, okay, shit happened, but this person needs some help. This is Michigan.
Presents a substantial risk of harm to the child's life, physical health, or mental well-being. B, no provision of service or other arrangement except removal of the child is reasonably available to adequately safeguard the child from risk as described in subdivision A. C, continuing the child's residence in the home is contrary to the child's welfare. D, consistent with the circumstances, reasonable efforts were made to prevent or eliminate the need for removal of the child. E, conditions of the child away from the parent are adequate to safeguard the child's health and welfare. Relief requested. 1, authorize this petition for protective custody in jurisdiction as to respondent parents, Jacqueline Lomas and Dakota Harmon Duckworth. 2, issue an emergency order removing the child from the care and custody of his parents, Jacqueline Lomas and Dakota Harmon Duckworth, placing the child in the care and custody of the department to be placed in a licensed foster placement. 3, take jurisdiction over the child pursuant to MCL 712A.2B1 and 2, and 4, set this matter for adjudication trial. Respectfully submitted, Nastasia Thomas and Sarah Harvey for HHS, 2024. There is an exhibit that was attached and served with the petition that I'm not going to read. It's not been incorporated into as part of the petition, and it is available for the parents and their attorneys to review. There is also the order to take the children into protective custody in the file at this point. And there is a proof of service indicating that Dakota Harmon Duckworth and Jacqueline Lomas were served with the petition, notice of this hearing, and the ex parte removal order personally by Hannah Trout on August 20th at 8:25 p.m. We'll ask Ms. Trout in the future to put 8/20/24. That's all right. Okay, so.
Okay, so heavy sigh, and thank you so much, Wixom. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Dragging wisps of heaven to we come into this world. The focus must be on the precious baby. I agree, except I'm explaining. I believe that babies do better almost exclusively with their parents, especially if there's not a drug problem. If we're talking about anything besides a drug problem, I have a really hard time understanding how if we poured as much money and energy into the early experience for a child and their family at the rate that we do in the justice system, especially the youth justice system, which we spend sometimes $2,000 to $3,000 a day to house children in residential care facilities that are tragically inadequate and in fact just money-making operations, and there's been lots about that. We talked about Paris Hilton about that. Anyways, the whole point is we're willing to spend the money later. We have the money. We can spend it first. Believe me, when you pour thousands upon thousands of dollars into families, generally it's poverty that keeps people like this. And so it's atrocious to me. And I agree that it would take 10 times the money, but it's money that we spend later. So I am all about doing it at the beginning. And I believe that there are cases that people shouldn't have their babies and shouldn't have kids, but a lot of the system is not on that. Anyways. Also, legalize drugs, sell them, fund the program with the taxes of the people who want to snort good, clean cocaine. Believe me, they'll pay a lot of money to do that. Yeah. Oh, I just fixed the problem.
I've received a request for jury demand for both parents in this file, so I'm happy to schedule that. As it relates to the preliminary hearing itself, I have already authorized the petition. Any testimony as it relates to placement pending the jury trial request? Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. If Ms. Harvey can be sworn in, please.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, before we begin, gentlemen, obviously you have, your clients each have the right to decline or waive the probable cause aspect of this hearing for purposes of removal or placement. But I'm also aware of the concerns on the abilities of your clients to be informed on those pieces.
My client wishes to proceed with the probable cause hearing, Your Honor.
I'll go along for the ride because you're going to do it anyway.
Well, Mr. Brooks, I think it's imperative that we ensure that we follow the protocols here, especially given I'm not sure that your clients, based on the information I have, can really afford to waive any of their rights to that, frankly.
That is a concern of mine as well, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Thomas. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Harvey, where are you currently employed?
Lenawee County DHHS.
And what is your position there?
I'm currently a CPS investigator.
And as a CPS investigator, is that how you became familiar with this family?
Yes.
And did you draft the petition that is before the court today?
Yes, I did.
And you heard the judge read the petition into the record?
Yes.
And is everything that the judge read into the record that you signed to accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
Yes, to the best of my knowledge.
As the investigator in this matter, how did you learn about, or what tools did you implement to learn about the allegations that you put into the petition?
This referral came in over the weekend, so an on-call worker had actually commenced this. So on Monday, when I was assigned, I read through the allegations and the referral. I also spoke to the on-call worker who went to the hospital and met with the parents, and I spoke to multiple medical staff at the hospital.
Do you have an opportunity to speak with the parents?
Yes, I did on Monday.
Okay. And when you spoke with medical professionals at the hospital, what concerns were brought to your attention?
In regards to the mother, there were major concerns that they had noted regarding a possible lack of cognitive function in her understanding of basic needs for her child. They reported that they had to multiple times explain simple tasks like diapering. They did not feel that she, after multiple attempts to educate her, could understand a feeding schedule. One example was that a nurse indicated that she thought that Miss Lomas could feed her child, but she did not think that she would remember when she fed him last, or how much he had eaten at that time, and she didn't believe that she would wake him up at a set time to feed him. That was a major concern of theirs. They also had major concerns regarding her bond with the baby. There didn't seem to be much bond or a interest in bonding. In regards to Dakota, there were major concerns regarding a number of events in the hospital unit itself in which there were major aggression issues. He left the hospital on multiple occasions because he was very upset. That's what was reported to me. He also would speak over
Jackie, when Jackie was asked questions, when they were trying to gauge if Jackie had an understanding, he would answer for Jackie, which made it very difficult for nursing staff to understand. He also explained some mental health diagnoses, which were very concerning, and explained that he was not seeking mental health treatment for those, that instead he chooses to smoke marijuana. There were multiple staff members that had various conversations with him in which he became aggressive. At one point, he postured towards a hospital staff member. So safety and security became a major issue in that regard.
During your investigation, who informed you of Miss Lomas going to the hospital during her pregnancy and not really have an understanding of what it was like to be pregnant?
Hospital staff, they had updated me on the number of occasions in which she had presented in the ER and what she had presented for. I have requested those records in full, but I have not yet received them.
What were the concerns of those prenatal visits to the ER?
They quoted, I can quote them as saying they were irrational concerns. They did not feel that they were concerns that a typical first-time mother would present to the ER for.
I apologize for that. And what can you just elaborate a little more on what those concerns were?
Yes, at one point, as was read in the petition, it was reported to me that she came to the ER and indicated that she thought her baby was dead because she had urinated. Another instance was she was having a panic attack and a paranoia moment, that she didn't believe that her child in utero had eaten enough that day. And I believe there was another incident in which she felt that she had lost the baby, that the baby was dead because there was a pit in her stomach.
Did anyone report concerns about the living environment of the family at that time?
Yes, when on my first discussions with hospital staff while they were updating me from things over the weekend, hospital staff told me that when EMS had dropped her off in the emergency room, the EMS workers had indicated that their home was, in their words, unlivable. It was very dirty. There were.
I'm going to object.
I'm going to object to the hearsay as well. Come on, lady, be with it. We still have to follow the fucking rules, even if I'm now misery eating Teddy Grahams. What a flashback. I listened to 90s music today and I'm eating Teddy Grahams and watching live reality court with my friends. This is like my Friday night from my dreams, to be honest, when I was a little kid. I didn't know about court yet, but you know what I mean. I wanted to know that I'm like gossip queen. I wanted all that. These are not frosted, no, but these are thank you to Christopher Engelby and Amazon. What a lovely surprise to open up the package that normally just contains coffee, because Chris is a boss and buys me coffee, and then to see Teddy Grahams and realize, oh, I guess I put those on my list. Love it. What a joy. Thank you, Chris.
And I realize that hearsay is allowed, but this is compounded hearsay. This is what the nurses were told by EMS. This worker was told by the nurses. So I think it's not probative because it's so far removed. That's my objection.
Would you like to respond, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I think it speaks to the concerns of the department that the home environment is an unfit place for the child to reside. And I understand Mr. McFarland's concerns, and it is on us at trial to secure testimony from those witnesses according to the court rules.
Yes, duly noted, Mr. McFarland, but the objection is overruled.
You're overruling the hearsay objection? What? That's weird to me. Regardless, I'm about to make a joke here. I just want to point out, first of all, it's in French and English because I'm Canadian, and Teddy Graham's honey are petit ourson miel. Petit ourson, which is so cute. Sounds good. Petit ourson. I would eat that. Sounds a bit like cheese, doesn't it? Petit ourson. It's not, though. That's Teddy Graham in French. And then secondly, I'm disappointed. I was expecting to have the nutrition facts laid out by Teddy Man, or Teddy Graham, or Teddy Bear. You know what I mean? I was. And yet instead, they're out here going per half a cup. No, count them. I want to know how many Teddy Grahams I can eat. Hi, Mike. Is that too much to ask? I don't want to measure these by a cup. I want to know how many I can eat. Also, it says back here, look at him, but he has a disclaimer about the size of himself. And do you know what that disclaimer says? That disclaimer says, enlarged to show detail. That's what he said. I enlarged my pic to show the detail. I'm not faking it. I just enlarged it to show the detail. That's like every guy that sends a dick pic ever. Don't send dick pics unless they're solicited. Then send away, but believe me, unsolicited, never the answer. Never. Boobs, yes. Dicks, no. But seriously, I find that hilarious. And what else? Low in saturated fat, 0 trans fat. All right, back to depression with this case, by the way. You can send me unsolicited Teddy Grahams too. Any day of the week, baby. You never sent a dick pic, Cellulite Yoga Pants? Really? I mean, I put myself in bad places. Oh my god.
Because hearsay is admissible at this stage.
Thank you.
All right, you may finish your answer.
They had indicated that the parents were sleeping on what they described as a dirty blow-up mattress. And nursing staff also indicated to me that while they were in the hospital, nursing staff was having to clean up their room because there were dirty diapers inside their hospital room on the floor. There were numerous bottles after they would be done feeding.
Hold on, you can't have it both ways. I'm sorry here. You can't have it both ways. They can't have been not changing diapers, but also creating dirty diapers and leaving them around. Not feeding the child. Having lots of bottles around. What do you think? Also, I don't think so, Tin Man. Sometimes things, they get a little backed up around here. Sometimes they don't. When people dono super chats, it's like a slight delay. There's a little nuance to our chat. Anyways, this is depressing. I'm apologizing. I mean, it's not exactly what I had in mind on a Friday, but like, it sort of is. Because when I was younger, I just wanted the whole story. Like, I always felt like everything I was told was like sanitized somehow. Not exactly the whole story. And so that's what I always wanted as a kid. Like, just the whole story. And when I worked at the bank, it was like, oh, you sort of get the whole story of like bank accounts, and that's like, oh, eye-opener. But then court has sort of been like that. You get the whole story, and it's awesome. I love it. Anyways, but this is where we are, and this is sad. I don't normally appreciate CPS, like, sort of loading it on. I don't know why they wouldn't get this family into family-based services ongoing. Again, wraparound, it's going to be expensive. And yeah, it's going to be expensive, duh. And again, it's expensive for everything. I mean, I wanted a story in large show details. You guys are so funny. Yes.
The baby, they would just leave the bottles laying around. So nursing staff were having to clean up after them.
As it relates to the baby's pediatrician, what were some of the concerns that are highlighted? I know that they are in the petition, but there's also an attached letter. And I believe that did you also speak with Dr. Amy Hammond?
Yes, I did on more than one occasion.
And what were her concerns for this family and the safety of this child?
I'm going to reiterate Mr. McFarland's objection to hearsay on hearsay.
Same response, Ms. Thomas, or anything different?
Same.
Hold on. Is this allowed? I'm getting frustrated because don't they have to call, like, CPS, the investigator needs to testify. Did you go to the house? Was it dirty? Like, I don't understand this adding all this hearsay in. Like, we just need to get the nitty gritty of it. Did somebody set fucking boots on the ground with this family or not? Are you literally relying on hearsay, or have you been there? I would expect them to have been there.
Response, Your Honor.
Very good. The objection is overruled, but duly noted. Thank you.
I spoke to Dr. Hammond myself, and Dr. Hammond told me that her concerns regarded mom's cognitive ability. She felt that she had on numerous occasions attempted to explain how to make a bottle using formula, and it seemed after numerous times, mom still did not seem to grasp that concept. She had major concerns for Jackie's ability just to provide basic care for the baby. She had concerns that Jackie did not attend either one of the specialists that she was referred to, and that a newborn requires a lot of medical care, especially this child didn't receive prenatal care. We don't know what medical conditions may come up soon. She was concerned about the parent's ability to make and keep appointments and care for the child. She was also concerned about the safety issues with the father in the hospital.
At some point in time, Ms. Lomas became ready for discharge, correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
Was the baby also ready for discharge at that same time?
The baby medically was ready for discharge. However, Dr. Hammond did not discharge the baby due to continued social concerns, which revolved around the fact that she did not feel that Jackie had yet grasped the concept and understanding of feeding and diaper changing and basic skills.
Did you observe, or did medical staff express concern about Ms. Lomas's ability or willingness to bond with the child?
Yes, more than one hospital staff indicated that they felt there was minimal attempt to bond. She would hold the baby, but you would need to give the baby to her to hold, that she didn't want to pick up the baby, that when the baby cried, she often wanted to hand the baby to someone else because she became very anxious and panicked when the baby cried. There was also very little skin to skin when he was first born. She did not participate for very long in that.
In any of your investigation, did you discover any adult guardianships over either of the parents?
No, there are no adult guardianships that I know of, but I do know that Ms. Lomas has a payee.
A payee for what?
She has indicated that she receives Social Security income, and she has a payee for that income.
And did she indicate why she receives Social Security income?
She herself did not. Dakota interjected and said that she received Social Security due to the fact that her father had died, and her mom also told me that she received Social Security because her father died.
Are you familiar with Social Security income payments?
A little.
To the best of your knowledge, does an individual over the age of 19 receive Social Security payments for a deceased parent?
To the best of my knowledge, no, not without them having some form of disability acknowledged by Social Security itself.
Is it standard for a recipient of Social Security income to have a payee without having an underlying disability themselves?
No, it's not standard.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I'd like to voir dire because she says she's somewhat familiar, yet she's going into quite some detail. I would like to know what her familiarity is because she's already testified she's only somewhat familiar.
You are more than welcome to cross-examine Mr. McFarland, and I will be happy to let you do that after the conclusion of the direct examination.
Thank you. Ms. Harvey, one of the notes or one of the allegations is that the department provided reasonable efforts by searching for relatives. Can you just provide a little more information on that point?
Yes, I asked and discussed with both parents, relatives, who their supportive people were, etc. Jackie indicated her mom, who is here visiting from Washington State. I had heard also someone say her sister, so I asked her about her sister. She named a sister named Erica. She said she doesn't really talk to her that much, but she had 6 children and she had helped her raise them in the past. Dakota indicated to me that he gave me his mother's name. He indicated that he had been in and out of foster care growing up. He also has a sister named Brandy. He believes she lives in Utah, but he's not really sure. It appears that all of their other supports live in the state of Washington.
You indicated that Ms. Lomas's mother is present today.
Yes.
Is there concern or would there be a sufficient safety plan if she were to stay at the home with the family and the child?
I do not believe that it would be enough of a safety barrier. When I had discussions with Mrs. Lomas or Miss Lomas, when I brought up my concerns, she minimized my concerns. She had multiple excuses for certain behaviors. There were moments where things were very contradicting. For example, Dakota's aggression. She would report that right now he's doing well and she hopes that he continues on this path, but yes, indicated he does yell. Yes, he does scream. Yes, in the past few days, he has had to leave the hospital because he is very aggressive. So there was a lot of those contradictions. When asked about cognitive function of Jackie, she reported that there were no cognitive issues for Jackie. And it seems, based on medical personnel's opinion, that there may actually be more than we are being told.
Based on the information that you gathered in your investigation, do you believe that there is a substantial risk of harm to the child's life, physical health, or mental well-being?
Yes.
And generally speaking, I know that you've testified a lot to this. How would you summarize that risk?
I believe that there's a risk for neglect of basic care. And I believe that there is a risk also of domestic violence in the home, even if it is just verbal. And I believe that there could also be a major safety concern since Dakota has indicated he does have suicidal and homicidal ideations and they're not being treated.
Thank you. And the child is currently in a licensed foster home. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Okay. And are there any safety concerns within that foster home?
No, not to my knowledge.
Do the foster parents have a basic understanding of infant care to the best of your
Yes.
knowledge?
Yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination, Mr. McFarland?
I do. This foster care home, are they a potential adoptive placement?
I believe so. I think that that's one of the first questions that they talked about permanence with the licensed foster care home. I believe that. I can't completely speak to it.
You don't know that personally.
Correct.
It's not written down anyplace.
Not that I've seen.
So we don't know.
Someone.
Is that appropriate? Is that appropriate? Is that her lawyer pointing that out in like irony? Or are they trying to say it's a good thing? I understand it's a good thing, but I don't think that that should be talked about at the beginning. If CPS wants to have fucking people that foster to adopt, fine. But this hearing's about the removal. And it seems to me unacceptable when we haven't even determined if the child should be removed fully yet. Right?
I know. I myself do not know.
Oh. I know you received HIPAA training, which is what medical records you can secure, correct?
Yes.
My understanding is you can't just ask doctors questions without getting some type of authorization, correct? Or an order, or a form, I should say, a form by the state, correct?
Yes. Miss Lomas signed a 1555.
Mother signed this?
Yes.
Now, your petition indicates you have some problem with her cognitive abilities, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Yes, medical personnel have concerns regarding her cognitive abilities.
So how can you have her sign a form authorizing if you have concerns regarding her ability to make decisions?
She has no other legal guardian, therefore she is her own legal consent.
So you don't think her cognitive abilities impair her enough that she does not understand at least what a release is, correct?
She understood what I was getting. She does not have a guardian. I have no other way to legally stop her from making her own decisions.
The doctors expressed to you that they had concerns with her cognitive abilities, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that any testimony concerning mothers, any discussions with medical staff regarding mothers' medical conditions be stricken, as there's been testimony from this worker that the medical field believes that mother lacks capacity, and yet she signed a release. I don't think we can pick and choose capacity. I think there's if the claim is she lacks capacity, then I don't think she has capacity to sign a release. So that's my objection to the testimony regarding any medical experts hearsay, and that I think it would actually need capacity to sign a release.
Would you like to respond for the record, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Harvey has testified correctly that until or unless there's a judicial determination that this individual does lack the capacity, we have to honor and respect any releases that she signs or any information that she provides, because she can make her own decisions to the best of our knowledge. If Mr. McFarland would like to adjourn this hearing and get his client or mother or whoever screened for that cognitive impairment, and we can go through an adult guardianship process, we are happy to oblige with that.
Leave that to Mr. Brooks to make that call as that's his client. But
Okay.
it does involve my client's child also, is why I'm raising these objections.
So I'm going to overrule the objection because she doesn't have a guardian that we're aware of, and Ms. Harvey is well within her bounds, as she described, to ask her to sign that release if she so chooses. And the other reason we're here and your clients have a right to a trial is because there is a presumption that they are able to be fit parents unless that can be proven otherwise. So this is a preliminary hearing to determine whether or not they are fit, and the investigation into that and those records are a necessary part of that. I will not be ruling on mom's capacity or lack thereof. I'm frankly not really concerned about that. I'm concerned about whether or not she can provide a safe environment for this child. Secondarily, I do also, by the same token, I'm not responsible for a guardian, even if one of your clients may need one. Frankly, I'm here just to determine whether or not this child can be safely returned to the parents, or if other provisions need to be made. So that's what I'm prepared to listen to. And so that's why your objection is overruled. And I'm certainly not going to allow Ms. Thomas to engage in looking into guardianships for the parents either.
Thank you. You did have a conversation.
Wow. If I wasn't already sure that this judge had a stick up her ass, I agree. She deals with difficult things, and she might be legally right, but this is just such a terrible position to have to make as a judge when you care about her, you don't care about her, is what you said. Like, it's just not acceptable. It's not. She's gonna cost the county so much money, so much more money. And instead of just realizing this and wrapping these services around, putting the baby in a fucking, in the foster home, I don't give a fuck. But I don't know. I'm frustrated because what I wish for in judicial officials, but I understand they're tied by the letter of the law and that needs to be changed by legislation. I understand. I get it. Like, I'm not stupid. I understand how it works. However, what bothers me is the broad powers of the court in some situations, but lack thereof in others. And what I would hope for is a person with the absolute, highest training in law, but also in looking at cases of children's neglect and children and people. I would wish for more from the judge. I would wish for her to be able to instigate a side-by-side situation to help this woman if she needs it, because that's what I would hope somebody would do. But again, this is very difficult. It does happen in Canada in a way. We have a terrible foster care system just the same. And so it is frustrating to me that, and we've had many cases of children dying in care. We care about them when they're a baby, but, when they've been around the system for 10, 14, 15 years, it's a lot harder. Well, fuck, yeah, it is. Imagine that. You yank children from their parents at young ages, and then you're like, oh, wow, this is so difficult. These kids are fucking terrible. Well, wow. And I'm not saying that, some abuse and neglect doesn't occur, but a lot of, especially in Canada, a lot of the system was based upon this, preconceived notion about what a family should look like, and there's a dark history of that, and so it's hard to step away from that, and it's also hard to understand how this person, like Cellulite Yoga Pants says, has a payee, i.e. a person who's receiving the money for them and ostensibly directing it to where it needs to go, but that person's 1,000 miles away. That's concerning. Also, yeah, I put a boob mic on my Amazon wish list, I think, recently.
Conversation with mothers with the maternal grandmother who's here in court, correct?
Yes.
Did you ask her about Native American heritage, the ICWA issues?
No, I don't. I did not ask her about Native American heritage.
Any reason why not? If your belief is that to qualify to have a payee, there may be some type of mental issues, is there any reason, or fit any disability issues, is there any reason why you haven't asked maternal grandmother?
To be honest, it was just policy to ask parents. I didn't, she seemed very knowledgeable of her answer. She explained to me her ethnicity and her Hispanic heritage in that conversation.
Okay. You indicate that maternal grandmother was using excuses to my client, was your testimony, correct?
There were excuses for some behaviors, yes.
Those excuses also be categorized as explanations as far as
You
my
could
client.
say that. They were her opinions of explanations, yes.
Are you the person we would ask regarding supervised visits, unsupervised visits? Are you the person who would have an opinion, or is there somebody else who'd have an opinion on parenting time for my clients and my client in the interim?
I believe that myself and a foster care worker would both have opinions on that.
Is it true that you're asking for supervised parenting time?
Yes, we would.
With a newborn, at least 3 times a week, 2 hours a visit, is that what you're expressing?
I myself would request whatever the current standard is for visitation, and I do not know what that is at this time.
Any opinion as to mothers, the maternal grandmother as being a suitable supervisor?
Due to some of the concerns, we would actually like a supervisor to be due to bonding and things like that. Perhaps someone more therapeutic, maybe Brene Moore would be a suitable supervisor in this instance.
My client tells me that somebody was over there just the other day from the agency and inspected the home, and it does not appear to be disheveled or disorganized or filthy.
That is correct. Grandma indicated that she cleaned the house.
Did you view the house?
So, yes, I did.
So the house right now. is
Right now,
usable.
yes. Yes, it is.
So that's not a detriment to return the child to the house as far as cleanliness,
Not
correct?
today, correct, not today.
Okay. It appears to be appropriate for return of the child, at least safety wise and cleanliness wise. Would that be an accurate statement?
The home itself, yes, today.
Transportation, do the parents have issues with transportation?
Yes, I believe they do.
What would the agency be able to do to assist them with transportation for parenting?
That would be a foster care question. I don't exactly know what all of the standards are right now.
Is there a worker here today to testify to that?
Yes, there is a foster care worker here today.
Okay.
Mr. Brooks?
How old is this child?
3 days.
4 days?
4 days old. Right. And where is the foster care home where the child is at?
I believe it's in Blissfield.
You indicated my clients have transportation issues. Where do they live?
They live in Adrian.
And what are their transportation issues?
I believe that they do not have transportation. I don't know specific reasons why.
Have you asked, or has anyone checked to see if they have driver's licenses?
I know that Dakota does not have a driver's license. The identification that I saw was just an identification card. And I'm not exactly sure. I know they don't have a vehicle. I'm not exactly sure it's the driving license status of Miss Lomas.
All right. Now, you have indicated in your testimony several references to.
Ooh, we have to talk about something that I almost missed. This could be signs of severe postpartum depression or psychosis. I understand there's other issues and she should have got prenatal care, yes, but bear with me here. If we don't really know a lot about her beforehand, and it could be a shock, but then also trigger, you could postpartum depression could result in not wanting to feed the baby, not being interested in bonding, all of these sort of same issues. And again, I just, it breaks my heart to think of women and somebody who's birthed a baby 4 days on being questioned and this happening like this. This is traumatic. And I remember when I gave birth to my daughter, I was 20, and I had family support around me that cared very much, and we all lived in the same household. So not only did I have family support like at the hospital, but I had family support at my home. We all had different suites, but we all lived in the same home. And at that time, we had 5 generations of my family living in the same home, 5 generations of women. And for better or for worse, that's what I had. And so when I was at the hospital, I already had this strong backbone of people that have been helping me learn. But it was obvious that there was, they were really biased against young people at the hospital. I can tell when people are being snarky. And so I had given birth to my daughter. I was in the room, and they made my boyfriend at the time, husband eventually, leave, because they're like, no, you can't stay. There's somebody else coming in the room later. And so I'm with the baby. I'm by myself. And in the middle of the night, this young girl, gets wheeled in beside me. And I wasn't sleeping anyways. I was like hyper fucking focused on having my baby. Like I was like unable to sleep. And so I was listening, of course, to everything that was happening. And, they give you these such fucking weird instructions. They're like, here's your Tylenol and your ibuprofen. And you're like, bitch, I don't know if you understand. I just birthed a baby out of my vagina. And I don't take Tylenol or ibuprofen when I have a headache. Okay? But that's all they give you. So they're like, here you go, and mark it down on this little calendar, and here's your baby, and we'll be back. And you're just like, what? And so this girl, and this is like 2 o'clock in the morning, so I hear them give her little thing, and now she's alone. And she's crying. And the nurses aren't coming back. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she said, I can't reach my baby. I can't reach my baby, and it hurts. And I was like, okay, hold on. And already I'm like, I'm up. I got up, and I went over, and I took her baby, and I wheeled it over beside her to where she could reach this baby. And she said, I think my stitches have torn. And I'm like, what, really? And I luckily, due to other things, didn't have any tearing, but that's a common thing. And so she was crying. She said, oh my God, my stitches have torn or something. And I called the nurse in. The nurse looked, and she said, yeah, well, we'll talk to the doctor in the morning. And I fucking lost it. Like mama bear hormones for my baby just turned onto them for this baby. And I was like, you'll get somebody now. And she's like, what? I'm like, we're in a fucking hospital, and you'll find somebody now. And she was just like, I was like, that's what's gonna happen, or I will be dealing with it. And she's just like, what? And I was just like already grabbing at my phone, like, you'll find somebody now. Like, now I have 3 babies in this room to take care of. I got my baby, I got her baby, I got her, and then you're giving me attitude? Absolutely not. It's like when people call 911 for the police when they're in the hospital or getting arrested. I'd be like calling 911, but also like my house. I'd be like, get my mom, my grandma, like everybody down here right now. Anyways, the whole point was they were rude to her. They were not nice to her, and in the morning, in the light of day, because they did bring somebody in and they did have to re-stitch her. They had torn. And I listened to this as they did it. But they did bring somebody in there, and I remember thinking the next morning, like, oh, this poor girl. And she told me this horrific birth story of, like, it was so fast, and the baby came, and I tore, and my man wasn't there, and all these things. And, you know, the next morning they, like, made a comment about me. They're like, oh, do you even have a car? And I'm like, bitch, we got 2 cars. Like, again, I was 20, but I was just, like, so frustrated at the judgment. You know, and that sort of spurred me on to go and do the mommy group and become a mommy, like, sort of advocate, even at my young age, because it bothered me so much. I was like, I'm just as good, if not better, than anybody else that's in this hospital giving birth to their baby. And I didn't like, and I was able to, like, handle my own situation. You know what? Like, they may have been rude to me, but I would have been fine. But that girl sitting there crying, I don't have any visual imagery in my head, but I remember that, and I remember just, like, having to protect her, and it was not happy. I was not happy about it. If I could complain to the manager about that, I would. I was the knee rack, you know. But anyways, but the whole point is that, and the whole point is that this woman is in the throes of postpartum right now. She is in absolutely crazy hormonal shifts going on in her body, and that would probably be the first time. She is probably undergoing a lot of things right now. And so, again, not only from a compassionate, like, parenting side of things, but a compassionate human side of things, we need to be surrounding her with care and love and support as best as possible, and less about judgment about why she might not be changing diapers as much as somebody wants. Like, we get it, there's a problem, but instead of exacerbating, I really am disappointed that we aren't wrapping them in services. Also, the reason that I didn't tear is because I read this thing called knuckling. And this is where we get really deep, Brian. That's what she said, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, literally what you took was olive oil, and you would, like, knuckle your vajayjay all throughout pregnancy. Stretching it. And this is, like, some hippie shit. And I did that. Absolutely. And I didn't tear. And I don't mean to say that I have a superior vagina, but I do, I guess, because of that. And I think the olive oil. Anyways, I love you guys.
Cognitive disabilities with regard to my client, is that right?
Cognitive impairment what the medical staff were saying to me.
Thank you. Are you capable of giving in layman's terms some idea of what that term means?
It would be the ability to function, reason, make good decisions, perform activities, our day-to-day brain function of how we go through life.
Would you consider that to be the same type of issues as emotional issues as opposed to what you described?
I think that they can be very separate issues.
Did you say separate?
Yes, you can have one without the other.
When you have discussed these issues with my client, have you not?
I did ask her, actually the on-call worker actually asked her and had the conversation with her about it, not myself.
So you weren't there?
I was not. I was told and read in my SACWAS the contact from that conversation.
Fair to say that you have not discussed the concept of cognitive impairments with this woman?
I didn't per se exactly ask for cognitive impairments. I asked her if there were any reasons why she had Social Security, trying to ask if there were a disability, in which she didn't, to be honest, she didn't answer. two of my questions. And then the other, she indicated her social security was not disability, and it was because her father died.
Do you think it would be advisable if you or someone in your position were to explain in as plain English as possible what the concern is? With cognitive impairments?
I believe a medical staff would have to explain, because it is not my expertise. However, it is.
Oh, I don't think so. You can't. I'm pretty sure you gotta be a little more clear than that if you're gonna testify on the hearsay of everything else. Why aren't you gonna testify on the uncomfortable shit too? Pink sweater.
Is something that we would like to have assessments done for, to really just get to the bottom of the question.
Well, it appears you believe the issue is threatening enough that you have the authority to remove this child from these two, isn't that right?
Medical staff indicate that it is a major concern. We then listen to medical staff and their concerns because that is their area of expertise.
Has there been any parenting time plan created at this point in time, or have they simply not seen their child?
It has only been since, I believe, around 8 o'clock last night. It is the plan that when court is finished today to come up with the plan.
So what is the current parenting time plan?
There currently is not one. We will be discussing that after the hearing.
After this hearing? When after this hearing?
I believe immediately after the foster care worker is here.
All right, well, it's 4:25. Are you saying by, say, 5 o'clock, there will be a visitation plan, or are you not saying that?
Based on the court's rulings, we will have the discussions after our hearing.
Have you discussed with my client's mother, the lady who apparently is the lady sitting behind me, whether she is a suitable candidate to take care of this child?
We did discuss whether or not she would be interested in guardianship, which she indicated that she would. However, there would be concerns because she does not seem to share the same concerns that we do regarding the parent's ability. In some instances, she agrees, but then in other instances, there are major questions as to whether the parents would be unsupervised with the child, etc.
To your knowledge, does this child have any special needs?
Not that I know of.
I have no further questions.
Ms. Underwood?
Ms. Harvey, have you been able to observe whether the parents have purchased any?
Why are you outside, Miss Underwood? You're a lawyer. Why are you outside? You know, I expect that kind of shit from me, but why are you outside? Seriously, why? I'm fucking perplexed.
Baby items such as crib or bassinet or car seat for the child?
I do know that they worked with Care Pregnancy Center. There is a bassinet in their home. There are a few outfits. I saw 2 boxes of diapers and 2 containers of baby wipes, and some bottles. I believe that they also had WIC for formula.
Okay, and Miss Lomas's mother, you indicated, is in town, but she resides in Washington. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Is there any knowledge as to how long she will be remaining in the state of Michigan?
No, I do not know. I asked because there were indications that they would all be going back to Washington State. I received different answers, sometimes 3 to 6 months, sometimes as soon as the baby is able to travel. There really wasn't an indication on that. I don't believe that there is a set date that she is going back to Washington State.
Watch her hair flowing in the wind. She's outside. That's a Zoom blur. I know it. It's not a green screen.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Any recross, gentlemen?
No.
No.
Thank you for your testimony. Your next witness, Ms. Thomas?
I have no other witnesses, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
I would like to call the maternal grandmother.
Your name, ma'am?
Your name, ma'am?
Patty Lomas. Lomas, come on up to our witness.
Squeeze you here, please. Squeeze you here.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Step here, be careful when you get up there.
All right, is your full name Patty? Or is it Patricia? Patty. All right, could you scoot up to our microphone? That's that little black thing right there. Last name right. Yes, could you spell your first and last name, please?
PADDYLOMAS.
Thank you.
Ma'am, could you speak up just a little bit louder? There's a vent right over my head.
Yes,
Thank you. Is it true that you are currently residing with both mom and dad?
yes, yes, it is.
Your Honor, it's not gonna work. She's gonna have to speak louder.
Pretend like I'm on the back door if you could show.
Okay,
Are you living with mom and dad right now?
yes, I am.
Okay. If, do you have any plans to return to Washington immediately?
No.
Do you want to be considered for placement of the child?
I would like that, to- yes.
If the court determines that parents cannot live with you, would you find someplace in Adrian to live by yourself?
I would.
Okay. Next question would be, if the court instructs that the parents cannot visit with you, that has to be in another supervised setting, would you abide by that? Would you follow the court order?
I will.
Do you have any criminal history? Have you ever been convicted of any crimes?
No,
Have you ever been investigated by Child Protective Services?
No.
Have you ever been investigated by Adult Protective Services?
No.
And would you be able to live here as long as necessary? Let's say if this case was open for 14 months, would you be able to stay here for that period of time?
I will.
How long do you think it would take you to actually find a place of your own?
I don't know the area and I don't know how the availability of places, but I will start doing that right now, right away.
Okay. Let me ask you, do you have any Indian blood in your family line, either your family, your father, or your mother's?
On my mother's side, yes.
Okay, and what Native American tribe might that be?
I don't know. I just know we have some native.
Is there anybody alive who would know what Native American heritage that is?
My mother passed away.
Okay, well, thank you for letting us know. No further questions.
Mr. Brooks?
Ma'am, do you consider the state of Washington your home?
Yes, right now.
How long have you lived there?
Since 2006.
2006. Were you born and raised there?
No,
Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Mexico.
All right. And you've lived in Washington since 2006?
Correct.
And before that, where did you live?
I lived in the state of California, the state of Arizona, Nevada. I lived in Michigan. That's where Jackie was born, 1998, 2004, I believe.
So in 2006, you lived in a number of different states.
And 2006, I lived in Washington.
Thank you. Are you married or single?
I'm widow. My husband passed away.
You're a widow.
Yes.
Do you have any other children who live with you?
No.
Do you have any, and I don't want to get too personal, but do you have anyone else who lives with you?
Anyone?
Anyone else who lives with you?
My granddaughter lived with me and I think she moved out of the house last week. She's 20.
Permanently?
Yes,
Do you work?
I don't.
Hold on, did she just say her granddaughter's 20? Also, Mike, you're making me want tacos. You know what the reality of my life is going to be? I'm going to have to cook after this. But I have to cook something delicious because I've earned it. And we're getting there. We only have 15 minutes left. Did she, I think she just said that her granddaughter was 20 and just moved out. But her daughter is 20, in her 20s too? I'm confused.
You've heard all of the testimony about the allegations of cognitive impairment that have been thrown around here, have you not?
Yes, I heard.
Are you aware of what that means?
Yes.
Tell me.
Well, that they believe that Jackie is not capable of taking care of her child, which I can agree with that because she has babysat before and she has done a good job. She cares, she's a very caring person, and she's very, very responsible in that respect. I understand she's got some medication that she's taking, and I think she's has some side effects as of maybe sleepy or drowsy or something to that effect. I'm not sure, but
What kind of medication? The anti-seizure medication. Is that Ativan? I think that might be Ativan. That can be sleepy. If you're taking benzos regularly during the daytime, it can definitely make you sleepy. But they did mention that she was taking that seizure medication throughout pregnancy. This is a striking difference in testimony here. Also, good night, Cellulite Yoga Pants. Thank you for catching up on Replay Crew tomorrow. My point is that it's, unless we're calling mom a liar, what we're seeing is a marked change in her behavior from what she was capable of before and left in responsibility of, conversely with what they're saying now. So I would be concerned if she is on a medication and it's resulted in this. I mean, the lawyer wants her to say, is she R-worded? That's what he wants, right? But is this a way to get around HIPAA by asking her mom the dirty details?
that's what I'm thinking that's happening, except, and another thing is that they don't have much social life, so when you're isolated, you tend to be more quiet, you know.
How far did your daughter go in school?
She graduated from high school.
Did she graduate?
Yes, she did.
Has she had any?
Okay, that's interesting. She made it through high school and graduated without being listed or labeled as special needs. That is interesting. Maybe she just doesn't want the baby. And she's acting out like this to keep the baby safe from the dad, allegedly.
Schooling beyond high school?
Yes, she has been going to school, college.
How far did she get in that?
She was just taking general classes. No, nothing yet.
And how long was she engaged in that?
How long did she go to school after?
After high school, right?
I did like a couple of semesters.
That's more than
To your
me.
knowledge, did she pass her classes in college?
Most of them.
Most of them. There you go.
Yeah, but Paul, most people that graduate high school that have learning and comprehension deficits tend to have especially as severe as they're talking about. You have to understand. I know, of course I know you can graduate with special needs, you guys. The reality is, though, it would be documented. IEPs, there would have been intervention. If it was as severe as they're saying, there are plenty of people that make it through that are of average or even less than average intelligence that can take care of a baby just fine. What they're alleging here is either extreme cognitive inability. Basically, they're saying she's handicapped, like unable to take care of herself. Okay? My daughter has an IEP. But I graduated high school barely, very barely, with an undiagnosed ADHD that I wasn't diagnosed with till I was 27. I barely graduated. If you look back at my record, you'd be like, oh wow. Like, my report cards are miserable, terrible, but I went to school all the time and it was very difficult. Obviously, I also don't have any visual imagery, so that was really hard for me to go to school anyways. And I went through and managed to get out without my own IEP or whatever. But if somebody is that handicapped, which is what they're alleging here, then they would have some blowback in the school system, I would assume. Also, I was 19 or 20 when I was taking care of my daughter, and but this girl sounds like she's older than that. She's born in 1999, I think. So, again.
Let me ask you one last simple question. How many kids have you got?
3.
I guess I have 2 questions. Are you capable, in your opinion, of taking care of this infant child?
Very, very capable.
I have nothing further.
Ms. Underwood?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Prior testimony indicated that you were the payee for Jackie's Social Security. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
How much does she receive on a monthly basis?
Around 1,400.
And what is the reason for that Social Security?
Well, she started getting Social Security since she was born. Based on my husband being older and retired, and when he passed away, he passed away when she was 4 years old, actually. So we started getting survivor's benefits since then, her and I.
Okay, so are those benefits named for Jackie or are they named for you?
Well, some are for her and some are for me. So we both get.
Do you provide her with those benefits so she can use them for living expenses?
Yes, I do.
And how long do you intend to be in Michigan for?
For as long as it takes for everything to be clear and good, for my daughter to have her baby back.
And then do you intend on returning to Washington?
Well, beyond that, I don't see a reason to be here for them either to be here, because they have no family, nobody around. So their family is in the West Coast, in Washington, in California.
Are you concerned with the father of the child's behaviors?
Am I concerned?
Yes.
Well, what I have seen is that since I've been here, he was taking care of Jackie when she was having a lot of getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and but because she was in the last phase, she was going to the bathroom a lot. Yes, she was nervous. She was concerned because she had never been pregnant before, and with your first pregnancy, it's always worrisome. I mean, I remember.
Ma'am, I
And
was
when
asking you about the father's behavior, not the mother's concerns.
Oh.
Can you limit your testimony? I asked if you're concerned with the behaviors of the father.
Well, so far not. I mean, he sometimes raises his voice because I think he gets excited and he wants to be heard. But I have heard other people doing the same thing, you know, like they want to be heard, so they raise their voice. But well, I don't think so in the overall.
What was the condition of the home before you cleaned it?
It wasn't picked up that good, but because I gathered that Jackie has been not feeling well. And Dakota was taking care of her a lot. So I came for that reason, to help, to make sure, you know, they got some, not just help in the house, but with, you know, Jackie needed somebody, you know, mother, sister, somebody more close than, you know, somebody that had been pregnant before, somebody to, she had a lot of questions, so she would be asking me a lot of questions, and I would be there to help her. And that's what I.
Oh, ma'am, I'm going to ask the
support.
question again. What was the condition of the home before you cleaned it?
Well, it wasn't well cleaned, like what I was saying, is that, you know.
Was there trash lying around the home?
There was things around the house, like, you know, a couple of bags of garbage that needed to be, you know, thrown away, and a couple of boxes, you know, here and there, but that was picked up right away. I mean.
How long did it take you to clean the home?
How long?
Yes.
Well, between Dakota and Jackie didn't help because she couldn't do it, but we just cleaned here and there, you know, get to the kitchen, I did dishes, and just did whatever had to be done to be in perfect condition.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Honor. Ms. Lomas, you indicated that you are the payee for your daughter's Social Security income. Can you explain why you are a payee or why she needs one?
Well, because we got it that way since the first day she got it. She was a minor, she was a baby, a child. When her father passed away, so it has been under, she gets her check under my name ever since then. And I thought that since getting together with, you know, others, she would be able to focus on, you know, paying her things, her own things, instead of I don't know, it just stayed like that under my name.
Okay. And did she have any special education services when she was a youth, like an IEP?
She did, but I'm going to tell you why. When she was in, when her father passed away, she was 4. And we were barely moving from Michigan. And so we were left, we sold the house in Michigan and we went to Arizona. And then my husband went to Mayo Clinic, to Minnesota to get, because he had cancer. And I was,
Ma'am, I don't think we need a full explanation here. I just was wondering if she did receive any educational services when she was in school? And you answered affirmatively, correct?
Yes. Okay, so she didn't go to school. I didn't want to let her go anywhere. Because we're mourning her dad's death.
Okay.
So she didn't go to school until she was 6.5. And that's when we went to Washington and we saw this church and it was a Catholic school and it was a nice place. And I said, we're gonna move here. She's gonna go to this school. And that's when she started school. So they put her in kindergarten instead of first grade because she had never been to school. Even though she knew, how to count and the basic things, few things here and there, but so they put her in kindergarten, so we're kind of behind. Now,
okay.
Miss
Ms. Lomas, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we are the court is closed, and so I just wanted to confirm about the IEP. And with that, I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, counselors, I would be inclined to adjourn today's preliminary hearing and take it back up on Friday, August 30th, to allow the department to thoroughly investigate the home, to investigate the placement request by this relative who clearly has placement priority, assuming she passes a background check and has an appropriate environment for her grandchild. Your thoughts?
My client's agreeable to that, Your Honor. Was that this Friday or you say the 30th?
The 30th.
Yeah, that's fine.
In the meantime, the child would stay in the placement, but the department has the authority and has placement. So in the event that this relative is able to show us that she's an appropriate caregiver and has a safe environment, I would expect the department to be utilizing that and moving the child even before we came back. So with that, Ms. Thomas, I would look for any arguments or objections on that point.
No, Your Honor, we would be agreeable to that. I believe that when the petition was filed, it was Ms. Harvey's understanding that Ms. Lomas would be returning to Washington. As she testified, there was no clear indication of her intent to stay. So that was not explored. And obviously the living environment would also need to be explored as well. So I have no objections to that and can join at any time on the 30th.
Ms. Underwood, I look forward to your thoughts on this, as well as your opinion on what would serve the best interest of this child at this point.
Your Honor, I believe that based on the testimony given so far today, that the child remaining in foster care at this point is in his best interest until we can further navigate placement with maternal grandmother. I do have some concerns. However, I trust that the department will fully investigate those and ensure that if the child were to be placed with maternal grandmother, that it would be in a safe environment. But at this time, if there is going to be any sort of parenting time, I would ask that it be supervised by a professional at this time.
Mr. McFarland?
Well, I said I had no disagreement with an adjournment. Was there another issue?
Supervised parenting time until we come back, or DHS otherwise verifies that it's safe to have one or more of these parents with this child unsupervised, given the allegations in the petition at this time.
I've discussed that, and as opposed to no parenting time, we agree with that. We'd also like to have maternal grandmother have parenting time, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks?
Well, one of the questions I asked earlier was, once the hearing is done, can we have a schedule by 5 o'clock? And the witness said, yeah, we can probably get that done. And so I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to be back here on Friday and nobody's put their heads together and given us anything, which has happened so frequently in these cases.
It'll be next Friday, and the department's going home with a list of homework, including to investigate Ms. Patty Lomas as far as her request for placement. She's a relative, she has priority. Investigate where she's at, and give her the opportunity to find a different safe place if she so chooses to, in order to secure placement. To develop a parenting schedule that would allow for both parents to have some supervised parenting time and allow this grandmother to see her child or grandchild as well. To begin the investigation into the potential Native American heritage. Am I missing anything, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
I am anticipating some sort of parenting time between now, hopefully, and Friday, and certainly by a week from Friday.
I would expect that as well. I know there are transportation issues with the family, but it sounds like the child is relatively local. And there are some resources and a family member here, so I would also expect.
Thank you.
What time was that on the 30th you're proposing?
10:30?
My client's fine by that.
10:30 a.m. on August 30th.
One question in addition, Your Honor. I anticipate that there's probably medical appointments for this child in the interim, where clients be able to participate by Zoom or at least getting information as a result of these appointments.
I don't see why they wouldn't be allowed the information as far as the appointments go or anything else. I'll leave that to the department to organize that. And it's somewhat going to depend also on how cooperative the parents are with the department at this point. There are some concerning things in this petition, which is why I authorize removal. So as long as the parents are being respectful, and I understand it's a difficult situation, but as long as you're being respectful to the department, I expect the department to be respectful back, and you all be able to work together in the best interest of this child. All right, then we're gonna recess for the day. The removal order will remain in place given the allegations in the petition. You've heard me on the rest of it, and we'll see you back here Friday the 30th at 10:30 in the morning. That's all for today.
Presumption will not be in order.
Your Honor, is it possible to appear via Zoom for that hearing? I do have a scheduled vacation that day.
Yes.
I'll be out of town. Okay.
We appreciate you taking the time to appear.
So you have that written down?
She's always out of town. She's always out of town. Yes, we will watch it tomorrow. I got it already. Don't worry, we're gonna see what happens. I'm interested. It didn't end up as tragic as they made it sound, which is, you know what, absolutely typical for CPS cases, allegedly. Oh look, chat's working again. Anyways, I love you guys so much. I'm so thankful for all of you guys for being here. We had such a great night tonight. Over 3 hours. Ooh, love it. Anyways, remember that I love you. I am proud of you, and I will see you in the next video, which is tomorrow. Bye. She said in the most millennial way possible, a peace sign. Bye.
Ways down and ready to